Let's do a 3, 2, 1 mark. That's 3,
All
2, 1. Mark.
God, really?
Yeah.
Worse every time.
Let's try that again. Try that again.
Okay.
3,
Okay.
2, 1. Mark.
There we go.
That felt better.
Get clapped. Yeah.
Great. All right.
People really liked being able to see our cameras for like a split second, and you know what? I like giving them that. You know, like maybe not a full pivot to video, but I like the little like peek behind the curtain. You know.
Maybe there's like catch up session and like 30 seconds of like our faces and then disappear again. Just enough to.
Oh, I just realized that I have a pile. I'm sorting laundry right into keep and so.
I mean, God only knows what's behind me.
Yeah. It's bad in here.
Pay
folks.
no attention to the podcaster behind the curtain.
I should never have gotten this blue screen covered in my bank details and all my passwords. Why did I do that?
So I doxed myself live on Railnatter like a few episodes ago when I like held up my sacking letter from Sistra, which is here.
Oh, with the address. No, don't do it again.
Obviously, had the address on it. There, like tens of thousands of people now have my address. That's fine. We're Devin, I'm sure you know what you're doing, and
just Alea just like showing you the like live satellite imagery from your house.
Devin, beep that. Thank you. Yeah, that's how that works, right? Liam still has his head in his hands.
All right. It's been a while since we recorded. Welcome to Well, There's Your Problem. It's a podcast about engineering disasters with slides. I'm
still in his hands.
Justin Rosniak. I'm the person who's talking right now. My pronouns are he and him. Okay, go.
I am November Kelly. I am the person who is speaking now. My pronouns are Shay. Fucking hell. Shay and her. My pronouns are she and her. My pronouns are she and her. Going to the gender identity clinic. My pronouns are she and her. Yay, Liam.
Yeah.
I don't even want to fucking do this. You know.
Hi, buddy.
Liam.
You doing okay?
It's okay,
I'm good.
Liam. It's okay.
Fuck almighty. It was a. Hi,
now I'm
Milkshake.
wondering whether we've just actually lost him.
Can you hear me?
It's possible. Is it even moving?
Can you hear
this
me?
would be the funniest possible time for this thing to cut out completely.
Did it die? I'm gonna kill myself and kill all of you.
Okay.
There he is. There we go.
I know what's
going. Yeah. Hi, I'm Liam McAnderson. My pronouns are he and him, and with me we have not a guest for Victoria Scott purposes.
Yes, very specifically. Hello, my name is Gareth Dennis. My pronouns are he and him.
Yeah, because you were talking to Victoria about whether or not these episodes sort of like count for total number of episodes guested in, and I think she still has the record. So that's obviously like
she does still have the record. So weirdly enough, you need to have me on more, guys. That's what that's what we established here. You need to have me on more.
If you've been watching the most recent set of episodes and you're thinking, well, it's been a while since they've had Gareth on, you're right. You know, that's it's a counterintuitive opinion, but you're completely right. So
completely correct. Yes,
we will get on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Victoria, in our eternal battle to hold the top spot, Victoria, she's winning, and it's the let them fight situation. You know. It's a very violent battle between Victoria and I. There's no love lost between us, you know. Fractious.
Two podcasters enter, one podcaster leaves.
What we really need to do is do an episode with both of you, you know, and then we can really settle this.
Yeah, it's gonna be train versus car. All right, we're gonna settle this for once and for all.
train versus plane also potentially. Like,
that's true.
We had Victoria on for like plane episodes before.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Ooh. Now my brain is running. Anyway, why are we here? What's going on? What's the disaster?
Why dragged into this lair?
We
It's been one of those decades comprised of weeks where decades happen.
I was about to say this is one of those. You know, once they elected Trump, the news started happening again. It's been a while since we've recorded because, you know, like everyone else, we didn't do any work between the holidays. So you know,
we have families. You know, you may remember that of Gareth, and so
it's true. Can confirm.
So we're doing another Oops All News episode.
Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping that we do this and then there's no more news.
No more
just
news.
like
Gonna be no more
in
news.
a good way,
Yeah.
not in a like
No,
the news is over in a positive
Apocalyptic
way.
way. Right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
What I'm hoping
The
is
end of Shadow of the Tomb
after
Raider. Yeah, I
this-
got you.
after this, we get a decade where weeks happen, and it just
Oh,
kind of
that'd be nice.
like,
Sorry.
I'm so stuck for news entries for this episode. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do we
I can't
have any
believe
new-
that a Trump became a Zen Buddhist.
Left
Yeah,
the presidency
he's
and
adopted the
changed
doctrine
it,
of
right.
Wu Wei or non-action.
Yeah, he has found the middle path.
We're all very pleased for him. Yeah.
Trump coming out with the shaved head and saffron
Yes,
robes.
Siddhartha
Yeah.
Gautama Trump.
Yeah, with the ear piercings. That would be nice. Yeah, yeah.
So, without further ado, let's do the goddamn news. So this is a new one that just started today, or earlier today, or late
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
We're starting,
Los
with starting with a
Angeles-
pretty grim one, to be clear.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, most of them are grim. Don't worry.
Yeah, these are there's not happy news in here, is this?
Oh,
No, there's one happy piece of news in there, but it's buried in there. Don't worry.
I mean, in terms of this one, I've literally been hearing from our listeners who are getting like evacuated. So this is happening
Oh, yeah.
to like
Yeah, hi Noah.
you know
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
like
exactly.
our people. This is
That
Stay
was
safe out there,
actually, I
folks.
was
Yeah.
up late on the phone yesterday talking to Noah. More on that in a second. But yeah, Los Angeles has been destroyed
Yeah.
Ah,
Had a good
it's-
by
ride.
wildfires.
of the list of American cities destroyed by climate change. Very sad to have to add Los Angeles to it.
Yes.
Tampa's still
been-
avoiding being on that list somehow after all this.
Providence
It's-
for fools, drunks in Tampa Bay.
divine providence for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Yeah, no, I mean, as far as this goes, this has been on the cards for a while, and I think it had been like a sort of like a thing where like anytime you hear about Southern California's like increasingly losing battle
Mhm.
with a biome comprised primarily of like dry tinder.
With the invasive eucalyptus thrown in for good
Oh,
measure.
those
Yeah, just
fucking
some,
koalas.
just some Australian
fucking
koala
koalas.
bombs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so there are, I believe at this point, 2 or 3 fires burning in Los Angeles County. There is the Palisades fire that's down by the coast, just
Pacific
northwest
Palisades, yeah.
of Santa Monica.
Santa
Pacific
Monica?
Palisades.
You say Santa
Santa
Monica?
Monica. Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
There's the other one, which I believe is the Eaton fire.
Yes.
Yes, that's sort of
fucking
north.
sick of hearing about which schools these fuckers went to.
As I say, don't
sorta-
threaten me with a good time. An Eaton fire would be marvelous.
That's sort of northeast of downtown Los Angeles, near Pasadena, near Altadena, which is looking pretty ugly right now. Those are tens of thousands of acres between them are on fire right now, and it has been pretty ugly to watch. This is a really big fire, and this is usually sort of the rainy, wet season out there. That sort of just did not happen this year. Usually the fires don't happen this time of year. So it's been, tough marshaling all the firefighters. It's been tough.
I feel it's January. It's January, and it's fucking like fire season.
Fuck you! It's January.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely. The one silver lining of this, I hesitate to even call it a silver lining. Is you see that one venture capitalist guy who was tweeting?
Can someone find me the private fire department? I'll pay any amount
is
of
there
money.
anyone I can like buy like a fire department off of? It's like, fuck you, pay your taxes,
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane drew a little like Brian Family Guy dog cartoon to thank the firefighters
just
for
saw
saving
that,
his
yeah.
house.
No, he didn't.
No,
he
he did.
didn't.
Looks
He
like
did.
let me see it. I got it.
Looks
in
like
fact,
so
I think he
far
said
the,
thank you LAFD, and that's a Los Angeles County Fire Department bulldozer there. So you know.
Oh, yep. That's yep. Yep.
What you're seeing here is that when the first evacuation orders came down,
You're seeing Roz actually with his bulldozer. This is his, folks. This is not like the nuke.
Well-
This is his.
this fire, the first evacuation orders seem to come from this one development that's fairly high up in the mountains, and there's one road in and one road out.
That sounds like hell.
Then there's there's a second road that's blocked off most of the time. That's the quote fire road unquote, in case the main one is blocked. Anyway, they sent the evacuation orders out, and the fire moved so quickly that the one road in was blocked, and so everyone had to get out of their cars and run for it. And then, of course, they couldn't move equipment in because the road was blocked with abandoned cars. So the
people
fire
took their
department
keys as
came
well,
in.
just in case someone like stole your Nissan in the middle of the fucking fire.
The fire department.
If you
came
wanted
in
that
with the
badly,
bulldozer.
take it.
I would point out, there's a big bus depot about 2 miles away by highway. They could have moved people out in other ways.
Nah, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, conversely, like a related part of like climate adaptation is going to be maybe not building communities in places and in ways such that there's like 1.5 roads out, and you can only get like people out by their own cars.
All of the development in these parts of Los Angeles County, I think this is still Los Angeles County. It's pretty big. It might be like
they got a county fire
joining.
department there, so
yeah,
probably,
exactly. Probably. So that the thing is, there's a lot of this stuff where you talk about like the urban wilderness interface. These are houses which are, they're single family. They're large houses on smaller lots, and they're built, with a bunch of dry vegetation around them. And they're built in areas that when the wildfire goes, it goes really hard. In this case, the one thing that's been exacerbating it are what are called the Santa Ana winds. And these are a phenomena that happens, 12.5 times per year or so, where it's just like, okay, we have a night of 99 mile per hour gusts.
Jesus.
So
the Santa Ana, where anything can happen. Like
exactly, and those peaked about 2.5 hours ago. As of now, this fire is still very much going as we speak. The fire has managed to make it down the mountain, and it looks like they just issued the first evacuation order for Palisades Park a few minutes ago, and that's sort of past like where a lot of the vegetation is. That's gotten into, Los Angeles bungalows proper. So that could get pretty ugly, even by the time this episode is finished recording.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean this stuff moves so quickly. And then it's really grim.
That particular fire, at least the winds are mostly moving out to sea, so you don't have necessarily the spread. The other one, the Eden fire, that one, there's probably a dozen miles of city between it and the sea. There have been a couple of fires that have been started just from embers drifting 3 miles away, which is pretty not a good thing to think about, but those have been contained fairly quickly. But the town of Altadena has already had pretty serious damage to its downtown. And again, that's past like the urban wilderness interface. That's moving into proper urban. So that's also not so good.
It's just grim to consider that not only is this the kind of thing that's going to get worse every year for the rest of our lives, but the chyrons are going to become less and less like a joke every year for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I was about to say, the other thing is there's been a bunch of people complaining, oh my God, why did the fire hydrants fail? Why is there no pressure in the fire system? You can't design a fire hydrant system, a high pressure water system, for a demand like this reasonably.
No.
This is outside of scope. This is not something anyone could have reasonably predicted would happen.
Scope creep, but just to soak down the Rose Bowl with like a bunch of whatever the fuck is in fire hydrants now.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, why don't we build the whole town out of asbestos? Which, to be clear, they tried.
So yeah, they're largely in parts of the area that is currently being burned over. They are without any fire hydrants. You have to bring in water trucks and pumper trucks. The situation is not good.
Climate change. I mean, this is this isn't just climate change. There are lots of other factors in here, not that are causing it, as well as like it making the consequences worse. But we've talked about it all before. I talk about it in the book. It's talked about by a lot of experts. We're going to have to build. We're going to not only build our new developments and new cities to be much more resilient, and also improve mobility, and so that you can actually get people in and out of areas. But there is so much retrofitting, particularly in US cities, that are so sprawling. Because the thing about the sprawling cities is that they are hopeless for putting in dense transit. You can do it, but they're not so good. But also they're really good for being obliterated by fire, because you've got just lovely fire going through, wrecking everything. I've been working my way through on Google Maps, looking at where the fires are, and just looking at how perfectly arranged all the housing is between kind of pretty decent fire loads in the kind of the brush, as Ross was saying, that interface. And the other thing is, it's like Switzerland in the sense, some of this hilly stuff, it's like Switzerland. You've got one road up, except that in Switzerland, you'd have a rack railway down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So, there are ways to do this where you don't have everyone parking your car in the road such that they have to be bulldozed out the way. I think that the images of the bulldozing cars out the way, given that for the US, cars are up there with among the highest sources of greenhouse gas emissions right now. It's a bit like that photo from Spain the other day, right?
I thought you were going to go another way with that and say in the United States, cars are the highest and holiest form of life.
That is true. I mean, that's kind of true. It's like, okay, it's going to kill however many people, but it's going to destroy God knows how many cars.
What about my Nissan?
And that's the real horror. Yeah.
Coming out from my burning building, holding Toby to save my Nissan Rogue.
The thing is, there are quite a lot of wide roads. Like you could have. I just pertinent to the next episode, of course. I just finished watching Chernobyl series. I'm very late to that party, but I finally just watched it. And one of the things that struck me in the early part is how quickly the Soviet Union and the Ukrainian SSR just rustled up like 200 coaches. And just evacuated an entire city. Like that sort of thing can be done.
Roz was talking about a bus depot earlier. Yeah,
there is a depot for the Big Blue Bus, which is one of the local transit agencies in this area. Pretty big depot right in downtown Santa Monica. About 2 minutes travel time from where this bulldozer.
I mean,
is.
short of like building better transit for the fringes of Los Angeles or Los Angeles in total, like. The city planners, the county needs to be saying, do not drive your car. There will be we have an evacuation plan, and it will involve
an evacuation
coaches.
Plan that involves buses. I mean,
you could have that organized for next season.
You got to worry about stuff like personal possessions and pets and so on and so forth. But you'd want to encourage people to use the bus where possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't wind up in this.
Yeah. Oof.
I like the firefighter filming it on their phone.
I think
that's funny. Like get the Schadenfreude you can.
Johnny.
Like
we got a statement from Noah, our Southern California correspondent. Hello from the climate crisis. There are over 27,000 acres of the county burning. There's ash falling all around my apartment. A mall developer who ran on being LA Trump is getting quotes in LA Times. And our mayor cut the fire department funding by $20 million so that she could pay for exorbitant raises for the cops and LAPD staffing positions that remain completely unfilled for years because of how evil the LAPD are. This will happen to you one day.
Great.
Not me. I'll just jump in the Delaware.
To look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, that is another aspect of this, is that a lot of emergency services other than the police have been recently defunded, not just the fire department, also things like homelessness services and stuff. All that went straight to the police, and it's just padding the budget. It's not even paying for new officers.
It's really good that you guys, it's like every other country that pays for a secondary paramilitary force ends up getting cooed. It's amazing that it hasn't happened in the US yet,
It's coming time.
But
civilian control of the police is something that people
I think
really
we should
ought
work
to be focusing on. We should work towards civilian control of the police.
It's about building strong institutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's an ongoing story. I mean, who knows what's happened by now? The whole city may have been destroyed by the time this is released.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, in other news, there was in New Orleans a mass running overing.
This is just a kind of like
so
omnipresent feature of life now. It's a thing in Europe. It's a thing in the US. And I mean, the thing I've been talking about this a bit on Trash Feature, and the thing that I come back to is that you just have a segment of the population who are like aware as everybody is that something is badly wrong and that something is fucked, but are like willing to be or like sort of like able to be led into the most incoherent, self-radicalizing positions based off of that.
Just insane political violence that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know. You could learn by this guy. He did an assassination and left an elevator pitch memo. Everyone liked him. I don't.
But that's also an example of like incoherence, because okay, when he killed the health insurance CEO, it's like, yeah, that was cool, fine, but like he did it because he was radicalized by like Malcolm Gladwell. Right. It's not something. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
The first radical centrist.
And it's like it's deeply like individual and atomized. It's like a kind of more, especially for a guy like this, right? To be like, I'm going to join ISIS and then do a ramming attack off the back of like self-radicalization is just a kind of like more elaborate form of murder suicide, right? Like instead of
I don't think he even joined ISIS. I figure you got to send in like some paperwork or something.
Yeah,
pay an application fee.
Processing fee.
ISIS fan club.
Right. Yeah.
Because like part of the thing here was like he was like broke and he was getting divorced and he was unhappy about the divorce settlement, if I remember rightly. And it's like, this is the thing that I guess you do when you can't kill your like soon to be ex-wife and the rest of your family is you decide to take it out on like society in general in the form of Bourbon Street.
But I mean, I think there's some interesting local politics here as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, this is okay. Shamsuddin Jabbar, right? U.S. Army veteran, American citizen. He rented off of Truro. Okay, no, I was thinking the city of Truro.
He rented off of this like
it's Airbnb
West
for your
Country
car.
city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he rented a Ford F-150 Lightning. That's the electric version of the Ford F-150. This thing's 6,000 pounds, 0 to 60 in like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's an EV, and that's useful for this kind of thing.
This
you get a
lot
lot
of specifically, right? Exactly.
Torque weighs a ton. Yeah.
Turned right off of Canal Street onto Bourbon Street. Dodged around a police SUV because they didn't have the wedge barrier there that day. Presumably all the other police crap that said Canal and Bourbon, because usually they get the portable sentry tower there and everything. Rams into the crowd on Bourbon Street, kills 15 people, injures a hell of a lot more. He had an ISIS flag on the truck. He rigged some pipe bombs to detonate with remote control. Never got to use them, probably because he crashed into the man lift here. And then the airbag went off. And then he was stuck in there getting shot at by the police.
It's a pretty bad situation,
Yeah, not ideal. Well, if you don't want to wind up in that situation, don't do a truck attack.
Don't do terror.
That's true.
Yeah. So this is about 3 blocks into Bourbon Street, right? This is what is it? I want to say there's a daiquiri place right up here.
It is Bourbon Street,
that also does pizza. Yeah.
I'm sure we've been there in the dead of night.
No, we definitely were there the last time we were there. Yeah.
I know you're
right for this kind of thing because you just have like a bunch of people like walking around very closely packed.
Yep.
Yes, this is a very, very narrow street, very heavy pedestrian load. It was
everybody's
New Year's
in and
Eve.
out of bars.
Everyone is fucking hammered.
Yeah.
But anyway, so one question is, if you've been to New Orleans, what's going on with the bollards? There's usually bollards blocking off Bourbon Street at this time of day.
Or night. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It comes back to bollards. It's all bollard posting at the end of the day.
Always. So, Mayor Mitch Landrieu proposed closing Bourbon Street to traffic back in 2017. Bunch of business owners successfully opposed this because they get the majority of their business from the roughly 15 parking spots on Bourbon Street and not the trillions of pedestrians, right?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But isn't that whole area in the quarter kind of like de facto pedestrianized, but it also like occasionally gets cars through it?
You can drive a car there. You shouldn't, but you can.
Yeah.
The sidewalks are very narrow. The streets are very narrow. Most streets are one travel lane, one parking lane. It is built for the 17th century.
Yeah, back when you couldn't do like a self-radicalized horse attack.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The horse gets scared by the other horses.
I mean, just prime, one of the most perfect, one of several cities in the US, but possibly the most perfect city for being car free. Dense,
at least this section of New Orleans, I think you could make a very strong case for pedestrianization, the French Quarter.
I agree.
Now, the compromise measure here meant to prevent exactly this kind of attack, were these movable bollards here.
Yeah, right? You see them open. They're stupid, but fine.
They're also pathetic, right? Like if you've seen in places that are sort of like designed against vehicle ramming attacks, and this does not always work, as we saw in Europe recently, in Germany. But like when you see like, look at like the US embassy in your country, if you're not in the US, for instance, or like, parliaments or stuff like that. It might be in the form of like big planters or something, but you have big concrete like fortifications,
right?
And that's not something that's necessarily implausible to put in. It's not something that's implausible to move in and out of the way a bunch of times a day. But like the little tiny like metal bollard just kind of doesn't cut it,
Oh no, these guys are pretty heavy duty. They're like crash rated for like I wanted to say like 20 tons or something like that. I didn't write that down. These are called something.
I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah, something like they're the model name is a Matador or something. I want to say
that's
the Eviscerator.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how a Matador works. The Matador's job isn't to try and absorb
famously the bull hits
the Matador gets out of the way, right? I don't know. So anyway, these slide in and out diagonally, so that when the street is pedestrianized in the evenings, the bollards are up, but otherwise they are not. Right? Otherwise, you can get your deliveries early in the morning, and people can drive their cars down the street until I want to say like 8 o'clock in the evening. Something
Cargo
like that.
bikes exist. You don't need vehicles for deliveries anymore.
This is true. Yeah. So this was the compromise measure, and this was deliberately like supposed to prevent truck attacks because everyone was terrified about the attack in Nice at that point. Right.
Yeah.
A later proposal by Mayor Latoya Cantrell to pedestrianize not just Bourbon Street, but most of the French Quarter in response to COVID was also shot down. To the point where even mild traffic calming was rejected.
Come on,
just for clarity, for anyone watching,
it's like literally, it's like a combination of like bar owners and the kind of 15 ancient French vampires who actually live in the French Quarter.
Well, this is a
Delphine Lalaury's ghost sticking that shit up on her front door.
This is a photo I took on Bourbon Street several years ago. Save our neighborhood, no pedestrian mall. This is on an Airbnb.
Shut up, you fucking nerds.
God. Can I just to explicitly for everyone watching, listening, all of the evidence shows that business income increases when you pedestrianize an area. Just in case anyone was in any doubt about what the actual evidence is, these businesses are morons. Their patronage will increase when you pedestrianize the street. That is a fundamental thing. And also, to maintain access for disabled people coming through, it's very straightforward to enable, because those people who are driving disabled people driving a vehicle are likely to be, firstly, very few vehicles allowed in. They can drive around at like very low speeds, or you can have mobility scooters that allow them to move around. There are ways to manage that without limiting their access, but you can fully pedestrianize an area and the business income will increase because the cars aren't in the way, because cars are a shit use of road space.
I'm developing a theory here. I'm developing a theory that not only are cars the highest American form of life, but drunk driving is the most sacred American activity.
Yes.
You're not wrong.
I will say some of the resistance here is also from people who just fucking hate tourists. Which
I
on this
understand.
street, I
That's
definitely
legit.
understand.
I get that. I get that, but like they lost that battle in New Orleans in like 1830.
1830.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say
ship
that's
has sailed.
you're not making any forward
It's like
progress
living in
there.
fucking like Celebration, Florida, and being like there's too
or
many
like,
fucking tourists.
Disney World.
or like Venice or
I like
you
the
know.
idea of a guy who does live in Celebration, Florida, and it's just like if I see the mouse one more fucking time.
Yeah, a
So
guy
anyway.
who lived there when it was all just orange groves and is just like,
I'm not. Why should I leave? I was fucking here first.
Yeah.
This
This was
later
my swamp.
proposal, the pedestrianized Bourbon Street was also, sort of,
Of course, destroyed.
guarded. It was shot down. This would have, you would have pedestrianized a few other streets in the French Quarter, as well. You know, you'd have a bunch of traffic calming elsewhere. All the stuff that would have prevented you from driving a truck down there at 60 miles
And
an
made
hour.
it nice.
right?
It would have made it nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can't
Well,
have that.
admittedly, it's already very nice, but it would have made it nicer. Yeah.
Yeah.
New Orleans, my
So anyway,
beloved, the only city where
this-
I'm willing to move besides Philadelphia is New Orleans, Louisiana. So if anyone's
Oh,
got
it's so high on my
it's
list
house-
of like need to go
Yeah.
there.
Beautiful place.
beautiful place, I love it. Every time I've been there, I treated like a king. I love I love it. I love New Orleans, and I genuinely, this one was like, this hit me especially because I was like, as horrific and grotesque as Bourbon Street is, yeah, I just a place that I dearly love and care about, and just seeing this is
Mm.
gut wrenching, and
Yeah.
my sincere condolences.
No, it's horrible.
It is, and it's terrifying, and we had a shooting at the Christmas market here in Philly. And I had the thought after this happened of just, it wouldn't be that hard. And I just,
that'd probably be pretty easy.
yeah, just that fucking thought, man, is super grim. So let's talk about
it's
something
just that
even
you
worse.
yeah.
And the car as a weapon again, like
Yeah.
the car, like I want to be explicit about it. The cars as an offensive weapon, not just causing climate change, not just like wrecking our space environment, but cars are getting heavier, still getting more powerful. They are weapons. You know,
it's just someone who has like apprehended the kind of like antisocial, violent potential of a car more than like most other people have. You know,
There's no reason for vehicles to be this big, this fast, and this heavy.
No.
No.
And
But this gets stupider.
yeah, all right,
Oh,
let's talk
God.
about the truck bomb.
No.
not
It
yet?
gets stupider.
Oh, fucking
in here.
Jesus! All right.
So anyway, these are pretty good hefty bollards they installed anyway, right? But so how is the truck able to make it through? The answer is they were not compatible with the environment of Bourbon Street.
What?
the fuck does that mean? It's not a graphics card.
They had to be manually moved into place every evening. And because Bourbon Street is a place where people get very, very drunk and drop stuff on the floor, the tracks got clogged up with beads and trash and what the municipal workers referred to as Bourbon Street juice.
Oh, delicious. A heady mixture of zombie vomit and like God only knows what else.
I'm going to describe that as a serviceability limit state failure. That's poor design. So that's an obvious and inevitable outcome.
In preparation for hosting the Super Bowl, they decided to clean up Bourbon Street and install new bollards and remove the old unreliable bollards, right? Which
Remove
meant
the matadors.
the matadors were turned into doormats.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you did there, and I don't like it.
Yeah. So anyway, there were no bollards installed at the time of this impact. There was absolutely no kind of barrier whatsoever, save for the police SUV parked on Bourbon and Canal.
Yeah, this is the one time where you need the cops to be double parked, and
and
they still managed to fuck that up too.
Yeah. So anyway, from NOLA.com, the Bollard project began in November and was scheduled to last 3 months. It involves removing and replacing sections of road to take out the existing bollards. A city press release on Tuesday Tuesday night noted the project was ongoing, but did not provide details of the work done such far. The old barriers never worked, blah, blah, blah. Bourbon Street juice. The new ballers they want to put in only rated for a 5,000-pound impact at 10 miles an hour.
Man, fuck off.
So everything you were saying, Nova, is correct.
I was right, but about the wrong bollards.
Yeah.
This is what I get for reading ahead in the notes.
No, the new ballers aren't going to work. The old ballers would have worked fine, but they took them out.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So no, Nova, you were just 100% correct about the bollards that are there now, hopeless.
You know what you could do if you wanted to block a road in a way that you could like get in and out of the way without having like street juice blocking it, as like some kind of a gate.
Yeah,
swings up or across.
Yeah.
You know,
so usually on Canal Street,
Castle, yes.
At Bourbon and Canal, they have a what's called a wedge barrier. That's one of the ones where the big sheet metal flips up. The thing is, it's a portable one that's not there the whole day. The other thing is,
it should be. What?
I'm just thinking about the juice coming off one of those wedges as it rises, pouring down from the swamp like Baron Harkonnen.
Bourbon actually has a pronounced grade towards the center because it is so frequently submerged in liquid. This portable wedge barrier actually, like half of it is like slightly in the air because it's flat, but the street is not. So every time anything goes over it, it just bends the thing. So I assume they just weren't using it because it was probably broken.
Genuinely, at this point, it's got to be cheaper to dig a moat.
That's what I was saying.
Yep.
Well,
dig the moat,
but they have a levee that's like the reverse of a moat.
Yeah.
Big earthen berm blocking off Canal Street.
No cars. So just make it no cars.
If you just pedestrianize this thing, this would not have been possible if you just did it properly. I mean, okay, you need some room for deliveries to some of these places, but if you had a lot of street furniture, if you had a lot of, just even like chicanes would have made this impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everything I know about New Orleans is that it's a like a beautiful city that is tremendously poorly led and kind of always has been as long as it's existed. And just kind of more of that, I guess.
Well, there's very little we can do to No one wants to give up Americans' sacred right to drive a car as quick as possible everywhere.
Yeah, no one competent ever wants to be mayor of anything. Is another part. Like, there's a real dearth of like effective municipal governance. Is why I started doing the fucking mayor podcast. It's like there's a real kind of like thing where it's just not something that anyone seems to bother to take seriously, even in large cities.
We need a some kind of vat where we can grow new Anne Hidalgos.
Yes, yeah.
Doing the prestige to Anne Hidalgo.
Yeah, exactly. But also, there was a woman who was hit by the truck and then was shot, and she was told to come into work the next day by Amazon.
Yep, that just about sums those cuts up.
That tracks, yeah.
So anyway, this very, very ugly truck attack here that could have been solved with a little bit better municipal governance, if that. I mean, these are ways you can be resilient to sort of the horrible alienation that's resulting in these bizarre, terrorist attacks. With
that's the thing that I always come back to, right? Is that like it's a like a symptom of a like really like of an age of incoherence, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how you make yourself less lonely? Is you take the person out of the 3.5 ton isolation box and you make them mix with other pedestrians in a largely pedestrianized part of a beautiful city.
I mean, you can't even make Americans ride the subway with each other without having them kill each other now. So
this is true. We'll get to that later in the presentation.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about a fun car-based violence?
Yeah, let's talk about the stupider one.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So we have to tackle the. Firstly, I laid this into existence in the last episode.
You did.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. We need the mental bookend here. right, go.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, we laid this into existence as a podcast, and I can only apologize for suggesting that it would be a Cybertruck bombing Trump, as we could see here happening.
Yeah, that did in fact happen. A man
Not just
rented,
any man, but one of God's own Green Berets, a special forces soldier, which makes everything that follows significantly funnier when you consider the whole, like, these guys are like hyper-trained killers kind of thing.
A man
it's the most pathetic explosion. Oh, sorry. Anyway, go on,
rented a
Ross.
Cybertruck off of Turo.
Off of Turo, yeah.
Then asked ChatGPT how to get to Las Vegas and drove to the wrong one.
He also asked ChatGPT, and again, this guy was a Green Beret. He was in the special forces.
Child.
He asked ChatGPT how to build a bomb, what explosives he might need, and for the first time in ever, AI's tendency to just hallucinate wrong shit has saved lives.
Yes.
Because he's just so the most dangerous thing, the most dangerous object that we see here, of all the stuff that was dumped into it and around it, was the Cybertruck itself. Because he filled the incredibly small boot of this thing with fireworks. Now, fireworks don't explode hot. They also don't explode particularly violently.
He had seen the most recent bonus episode and was like, "What if I did that, but in a way that was also a." We're gonna have to bleep the word side in all of this. Sorry, Devin.
Oh, sorry, Devin. We'll try not to use it too much.
There was one in the last one as well.
So he went to EntFX and he hired the O-Bang and he put that in the boot and of the Cybertruck, drove it according to the wrong place,
to the wrong Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Yeah,
realized his mistake and drove to the regular Las Vegas.
those marvelous Green Berets.
I love how much AI is just going to be a confounding factor in like increasing amounts of news. We're like, oh yeah, this terrorist attack happened, but it happened where no one was, in like a set for a movie film of the city rather than the actual city, because AI just sent someone that way. Doing
9/11 to Manhattan, Kansas.
Oh man, just incredible work. Yeah, anyway, so it went pop. It didn't even break any windows, right? It's just
I think it injured like a couple of people who were nearby, but like the guy shot himself and then hit the fucking the detonation thing, and then just kind of you had a very like voluminous fireworksy explosion. And the Cybertruck caught on fire.
It was pretty Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it was a bit comedic, yeah. And then, of course, when the Cybertruck got hot enough, that was then things started getting dangerous, yeah.
I mean, you're then faced with a Cybertruck fire, which is not great.
No.
I said
Elon
this
was like, look how great the Cybertruck
because it was designed for this, yeah.
It was designed for this, because my Cybertruck is made of steel. Guess what other cars are made of?
Sometimes aluminum. Sometimes cars are
fucking dweeb.
Yeah,
that twat. Anyway, yeah, there it is. It's just.
That means we're sliding towards a future where the Los Angeles County Fire Department's bulldozer is unable to push a Cybertruck out of the way.
Oh my god!
No, they'll upgrade. It's fine. They're fire with fire.
Just in case. LA County Fire, IDF, please, bigger bulldozers. You
get buy them from the IDF.
No, I want them to stay BDS compliant.
That's a good point. Yeah,
true.
What's a BDS compliant bulldozer?
The bulldozers are really like kind of an extremes of morality technology, in the sense of like you can use it for a genocide, or you can use it to crush a Cybertruck to like do firefighting.
Yeah, that really is the opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
Is Caterpillar on the BDS list?
Big time.
Oh god, yeah,
okay, that's what I figured. Yeah,
I mean, I guess you'd have to. I mean, where else? Who else builds bulldozers? You know, like
China. There are like 20 different bulldozer manufacturers in China.
If we're talking about human rights abuses, then
probably Volvo.
I think Volvo might be woke. I don't know. Volvo woke?
Is manufacturers. Volvo woke? The logo is the man symbol.
Yeah.
So no.
Well, they care about men's mental health is the thing.
Dude, we gotta get Volvo to change it to the trans symbol, and then they'll be woke.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, so I'm going to need
XC90
Volvo to do a couple of things. First of all, change the logo to the trans symbol. Second of all, build the world's largest bulldozer. 3, start giving it to American firefighters.
Yes, exactly.
That seems fair.
Okay. Glad we're making progress today.
Yeah, it's we're rattling through this agenda.
We have a coherent vision for a better world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine the like woke fire department bulldozer crushing a Cybertruck forever, and that's our vision of the future.
Komatsu, Europe. That's who we want. That's who's building our bulldozers. Komatsu. That's who we're going for.
Sure, yeah.
I'll
Do
send
you
them an
think
invoice.
bulldozer guys get like really like tribal about their bulldozer affiliation, like power tools guys do?
Oh,
I'm sure they
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
right.
like they're making up like homophobic acronyms for like other like bulldozer manufacturers.
Like the operating engineers union is like barely holding together constantly because of these internal divisions.
Power struggles.
It's like, I showed him my set of keys to the Komatsu, and he stabbed me in the hand with a pencil.
Yeah.
I don't...
Oh dear. Anyway, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
no, this is again another symptom of incoherence. This time of much less consequence. I've been calling this whole thing the years of lead poisoning. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to be using it in everything.
I was about to say. The other thing is, of course, this guy who did this, whatever the hell this was a big Trump guy.
Yes,
so
Donald Trump's supporters love trying to assassinate him when they're bored. Like,
yes.
And who could blame him?
His enemies have way more reason to assassinate him, and yet, as far as we can tell, like basically none of them have made a serious run at it. But his own guys, they love trying to kill him. They can't get enough of it. It's like, you remember that editorial cartoon? It was like Washington Post, whatever, with the like dark MAGA figure with the like, I'll take care of them, Mr. President. It's like that, but he's shooting at Trump.
He's got the gun pointed directly. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'll take care of the woke deep state. Sighting up Trump.
This man has created a reverse Secret Service.
Yeah, he's created a corps of like thousands of lunatics dedicated to his own assassination. What if I'm going to try and get it into every item. What if this is an elaborate
YouTube
method? What if Trump is like, he's still like, I don't want to be president. I want to die. And so he's just like setting up these guys,
Oh, you've heard of
no
by cop. This is
can't say that on YouTube.
by political supporter.
YouTube.
By assassin. Yeah.
Yes.
There's going to be a little counter for that word in the corner that Devin's going to maintain. Devin, I'm so sorry.
I'd like you to, if you can do the counter, that'd be great. But ideally, what I'd like you to do is instead of a beep, just replace every instance of the word with a really flat recording of yourself saying YouTube. That would be great.
My understanding is that actually YouTube doesn't censor you saying.
Got to take that out.
This is a form of mass psychosis that Gen Z has imposed on us.
Unalive. That's
like
a good
unaliving yourself. Yeah, possibly.
Exactly.
Although we did get a video get like deboosted or whatever the fuck it is from.
No, that was because we talked about Aaron Bushnell. And I think that was a specific political thing that YouTube did not like.
I guess we can A/B test that with this.
I'm
Yes.
sure gonna try.
I read a quote by him in my New Year's natter. Actually, I had one very angry email about it because he gave a really good quote on Reddit in 2023 that I thought was pretty inspirational. And YouTube hasn't hit me hard on that, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't noticed anyway. Yeah,
Zoom still being proven more right every day. I think a lot about this is what our ruling class has decided is going to be normal. I think that's we're looking at all of this and getting that feeling.
Hold on, that slides later in the presentation.
Oh my god!
God. The word incoherence, political incoherence comes up a lot. I think Hussein, not to cross post, but last trash feature with Hussein kept talking about it, and I think he was spot on with that point about this incoherence is just going to happen more and more because the landscape is incoherent, our politicians are incoherent. Anyway, sorry, next slide. Let's talk about some other really horrific things going on. Yeah.
So we've lost another 737.
Oh, our T-shirt's
It's
still
a
relevant.
Max.
Yeah.
This is not a Max. This was an 800.
Isn't the 800 just haven't they just rebranded the Max to 800
No, this is,
because so
this
many
is a
Max
much
crashes?
older airplane, actually.
Forgive me. Okay.
I believe this is before even the 737 NG.
Okay, crikey.
Jeju Air Flight 7C-2216 left Bangkok, Thailand, approached for its scheduled landing at Muan International Airport in southern South Korea. They had an initial failed landing attempt. There was a go-around, and they had a bird strike, I believe, at least when I wrote this slide. That was the most current
That's what I had
information.
seen too.
Yeah, so they did a go-around. They came back in for landing. The flight crew sent a distress signal. They tried to land on a different runway than the one they were, given clearance for, because apparently that's all they could do. The plane touched down without lowering its landing gear, right? It skidded along the runway at very high speed. Actually, for a belly landing, absolutely beautiful. Pilots did a great job. Thing is, they couldn't stop in time, overshot the end of the runway. And so at the end of the runway is the localizer antenna, which is usually made of a sort of material that can break away in these sorts of instances.
Well, what they did was they perfectly prevented a truck attack from hitting the end of the runway.
Yeah. This localizer was on a big concrete berm, and the plane hit it, and
just blew up.
Everyone except 2 flight attendants at the back of the plane died. Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, it sounded again. This is one where we need to wait until there's a report on this, because all the details on this seem a little bit muddy still. I'm now a pro air crash investigator, having watched pretty much every single episode of Air Crash Investigation because I'm obsessed.
Exactly. I've watched a lot of mentor pilots, so I'm an expert.
So you're ready to
Each
go.
episode of appearance on this podcast is equivalent to a year's college.
You all have your
air
pilot's
crash
licenses now.
investigation.
Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. The credits come good. So it seemed like there's suggestions that the pilots landed it beautifully, but they took they just took too long along the runway. They went too far down the runway without touching down, so they didn't have enough to spend enough time skidding along on their belly to slow it down. That seems like I'll be very interested to see what went down on this one, because it's a real fucking mess.
It's really hard to say, and also I don't know if you put this in the slides, but South Korea, a country that is experiencing a surfeit of news at the moment, like a real news.
Oh right, I should have put that one in. Yeah, they're doing a lot of news.
It's
there.
fine. Like it closed itself off neatly, right? It's all good. Everything's fine and dandy in South Korea right now.
Not so much. No, I think they're up at 2 presidents impeached sequentially, and one of them is barricading himself in his house with the Secret Service, as the cops try to arrest him, the non-Secret Service cops.
God, I hope we can have that kind of politics.
I love the idea. Just I'm never coming out. Just bashing at the door of the plunger. Yeah.
Oh man. So hypercapital. The countries in East Asia, in the Far East, where we exported hypercapitalism, it's doing great. So South Korea, it seems like their entire democracy has collapsed in on itself, and Japan, the average age is 78. So it's going real good out there. Terrific. Oof.
And so also now this in a country with a kind of barely functioning executive is it's never a good time to have a massive plane crash, but this is distinctly
not a great one.
Worst time.
Not a great time. Yeah, I mean,
South Korea, and people are going to catch me if I'm wrong on this one. South Korea has a pretty good safety record.
Oh, I would hope. World standard.
Yeah. As in, in terms of actual very low. We're not talking Taiwan. This isn't China Airlines. Where they have 6 747s hit the dirt a year. This is this is a very high, very good safety rating. I would hope then that they have a very effective air crash investigation board, and obviously, the NTSB will be over there sniffing around as well and supporting them. So I look forward to reading the crash report into this one.
This is all going to be very heavily investigated. I was interested to see that there was apparently no EMAS on this runway, the engineered material arresting system. It just seems like this airport was old and poorly designed and couldn't handle the runway overrun without the aircraft turning into
Gil.
razor blades. Yeah.
Yeah. This is I mean, you don't get many big crashes like this anymore, thankfully.
You also don't get many that are
this,
like apparently caused by like airport design. That's something that you tend to think has been pretty standardized.
We had quite a few in the 90s, and then kind of since then, none really, because we fixed. Emacs is a good example of a thing that. We kind of, it was a solved problem. We had, the surge in downdrafts in the early 90s as well. There are various things that we kind of solved. And so it is surprising to see this. Yeah, it's one of those situations. I look forward to seeing the crash report. It'll be really interesting reading to see what's going on. Because it feels like it feels like there's not been good crew resource management like this. For this to happen, it's likely there was stuff going on in the cockpit. Yeah, bird strikes to bring an aircraft down is very unusual. Right. Like they're designed to deal with this shit. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't add up, and I think you're right. It's going to be one of those situations where where air traffic control overworked, mismatched. Yeah, I look forward to reading that crash report.
Really intense bird strike, like the bird. It's more of a bird hijacking. Like you've got a goose trying to get in the cockpit.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bird strike. It turned out it was Feathers McGraw.
Oh no! That wily fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So, who knows what happened here? Anyway, in other news, how are we doing in Gaza? Poorly.
Bad.
Real bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say it's getting real ugly, and then no end in sight here. Israel has blown up or set fire to Kamal Adwan Hospital, which was the last functioning hospital in the north of Gaza.
Pure fucking evil, same as it ever was.
I believe there's been some kind of torture video released where the Israelis got some doctor to admit there was Hamas in the hospital. NYT breathlessly reported on that. I'm pretty sure that was,
complete fucking nonsense.
Exactly. I'll say this much: since it's clear that the Israelis would have destroyed the hospital either way, at that point it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a war crime, but
not like they give a shit.
The whole thing's been a war crime. Yeah.
What are we like? A year and a half?
Just add it to the list of
how many days are we in now?
It's. I literally have lost count.
It's getting. I mean, it has been ugly the whole time, but it's ugly. It gets uglier every day. It's very difficult to we haven't spoken about this for a while, I suppose, because it's just what is there to say?
Right.
But this is only getting worse.
The word impunity feels like it's completely lost meaning at this point, right? Impunity, it just took a meaningless word.
Right.
Israel have just been told again and again, you can do this and more, and you'll still get billions from.
We're not going to sit here and stop
the
you,
US.
right?
You'll still get all your weapons.
You can take over parts of Syria.
Yeah,
you can. What else?
What's the scary thing? They now own significant percentages of the water supply in Jordan, Syria. Not to mention, Palestine, because of the fact they've just taken over bits of Syria. They've just decided, that's ours now.
That's ours now, yeah. We need a buffer zone for a buffer zone, and I need a buffer zone for my buffer zone for my buffer zone.
Yeah.
And it's fucked if I know what I can say to do about any of this.
Yeah, there's. I reminded of the Kurt Vonnegut custard pie quote.
Yeah,
about the Vietnam War. Yeah.
It's not as if anyone involved was waiting to hear about what podcasts thought about this, but fucking hell.
Yeah. Right. Or mass protests or any kind of writing your legislator, withholding your vote in an organized fashion.
Nope. Fuck you.
There's just nothing has worked. Nothing has moved the needle an inch.
It's a real fucking damning indictment on how evil our governments are.
Yeah, this is how you get to the incoherence as well, as even the people who think this is good and are praising it are still learning the lesson that there are no levers that you can pull, right? other than violence. That there is nothing that you can do to make any of these governments listen to you. And what these people are learning from that is like, well, the only thing for it is these kind of like grandiose terroristic acts of violence, you know?
Yeah,
I think the only thing
those don't work either. It's just that's what they're relying on, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing that I've been doing is reminding people that this is not just something that someone else is doing and it's bad, boo-hoo. This is like, in the UK, we are sending arms, we are providing intelligence, we are flying our very expensive AWACS planes over the top, and we probably have boots on the ground, even though we're not, like, even though it's not being talked about officially, it's very likely we have boots on the ground in Israel in some form, whether it's advisement, whether it's, the likelihood is there's probably like 1,500 BAE guys out there, like, we are out there. We are facilitating this shelter. So that's not even that's not even talking about the US. That's the UK. And so we are absolutely, all of us have blood on our hands, whether we like it or not. And we should be reminding our MPs of that as frequently as we possibly can.
So you remember the aid pier? They built the aid pier, and then they drove like four trucks in, and then used them to do a war crime, and then dismantled the thing.
A guy died, like an American soldier died of like misadventure in the course of this building this pier in like an industrial accident. So yeah, great record there. Do you remember Jose Andres, the celebrity chef who also does World Central Kitchen?
Oh, you got the Presidential Medal of Freedom after the administration killed some of his guys.
Yeah, from the guy who helped kill a bunch of his staff. Yeah. They were shooting at like WCK convoys, like, oh, not WCK, but like NGO convoys like 2 days ago.
Right.
You know? And the IDF is like fucking with the UN forces in Lebanon still, even after the kind of like withdrawals there, and it's just like it's like fully a rogue state, but it's a state that's kind of like apprehended the way things are going, which is like, oh, so you know, we're really kind of putting international humanitarian law to the test as to whether it's going to do anything.
Jesus
and
Christ.
that's not going to be a settled question for a long time yet. I think as more and more evidence comes out about things that, you know, atrocities that, you know, the IDF have committed in Gaza. You know, I saw this thing that was like advice to like IDF soldiers traveling abroad in case you get arrested on like a war crimes. It's like, and the thing at the end of that was like, you know, the risk isn't going to decrease over time. It might in fact increase over time. So yeah, we don't know what shape that's going to take. But in the meantime,
they just started today, I believe, blurring soldiers' faces on television.
I mean, yeah, great. Have they got them to stop posting TikToks of stealing?
Exactly.
Yeah, and like, I just, at this state level, in the immediate term, I think Israel has just kind of made the correct bet that no one is going to stop it, and this is just how like international relations is just going to work for everyone from now on.
Hey, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly, especially when Trump decides to invade Mexico or some bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's kind of like, well, you can just do what you want, pretty much. And there's a lot of countries that want to do shit like this. You know, Israel isn't like uniquely evil in the sense of being the only country that has done a genocide or wants to do a genocide. You see that with like Azerbaijan just as much, for instance, in Nagorno-Karabakh. And like, this is just going to be a thing that like is going to become normalized at this rate. And you combine that with like the kind of like billions of climate refugees, and the whole thing takes on a real like Children of Men cast, right?
You're absolutely right.
To say, I mean, the only thing we can do is hope we run out of ammo.
The only thing we can do is fucking give the UN nuclear weapons at this point. Like,
I mean, honestly, though, I mean, if we could, everyone could vote. Well, no, because there's still be United States veto.
I'm now at the point where I'm just at the kind of desperation that people got to after the end of the First World War, where they're like, what if we had like an international air police to enforce to enforce peace? That kind of thing. I'm just like, well, there's got to be something. There's got to be some solution out there. Maybe it's Posadism. Maybe we just have the fucking aliens take over because we're unfit to govern ourselves.
Or the dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although dolphins aren't getting away from the sexual assault allegations.
No.
I like to separate the art from the artist. You know, there's cancel culture shit's gone too far. You know, okay, maybe they didn't do some shit that was so good, but like I saw them in a lot of like, you know, nature documentaries. They're an inspiration, you know?
Yeah.
Have you seen Dolphin Chinatown?
That's dolphin fur. This is Chinatown.
Very good, Roz.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Delirium has said it.
All right. Well, let's move on to some lighter news.
Yay. All these guys hate each other and they're not even in power yet.
Yeah.
Trump and Musk have both said immigration is good, actually. I was waiting for a politician to finally, do this. It's just they're only talking about the H-1B program.
We're annexing Canada, maybe, possibly. So
we'll get there. That's another thing.
Later. Yeah.
But yeah, so this was the thing. Elon Musk. We didn't even include any of his like European crash outs, which I guess we'll get to in like future episodes.
Oh, right, yeah. He's
I genuinely think there's a non-zero chance that Elon YouTubes himself. Like I think it's up there. It's a possibility.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, I mean this was the joke when he started doing Twitter Premium. Is you want to see what happened to the last guy who made me post on a forum and made me pay for it? You know,
there's been a split among the ascendant right wing about immigration in the sense of, okay, we need to keep out those, dirty brown people, but we do want to bring in, but the other side is like, yes, but we do want to bring in the educated Indian people to work at our tech firms.
Exploited, exploit their labor. You hire a guy who's like a very specific kind of computer scientist, and you pay him like stupidly low wages.
I was about to say this is a person who's put in like fucking 8 years of study at the most prestigious university in like Chandigarh. And like you're paying him, I don't know, $20 an hour.
Yeah.
And he can't quit or get another job because then he'll get deported.
And his wife is not allowed to work.
Right.
Yeah. And this sort of like nuclear heterosexual family where the wife isn't allowed to work, of course, triggers all of the worst chuds on the internet because they're racist, right? And because they are threatened by the existence of non-white people. And also there was a particularly faddish anti-Indian specifically racism kicking around.
This is true. That's become a new fad. Yeah.
And
it's just, that's not, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It's a type of racism. The US does a wondrous rainbow of racisms, but actually that kind of racism isn't one I'm that familiar with popping up that much in the US. I don't know, maybe
it's sort of one that existed mostly on like the chans, pretty much, like the image boards, and then kind of grew from there, right? And it was kind of like it was a meme through the kind of like sort of groiper bit of the far right.
Right.
I feel fairly horrible. Like
I feel like we've had sort of this rise of multicultural racism.
Yeah.
Where like the racists don't care the color of your skin as long as you're racist against someone.
Right.
That's they're putting that on the new unwoke Statue of Liberty.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But so
give us your
like
racisms.
The real sort of like counterforce here is guys like Elon Musk and Donald Trump who want cheap labor personally because it benefits them. Like SpaceX and Tesla just don't work without H-1B visas. And also as a fun little tendency, the like Indian upper class who are also racist but wish that you weren't racist against Indians. This is a kind of because it's a fine tradition for like any immigrant from like any ethnicity anywhere in the world is to kick the ladder out from under you, right? And that's something that you saw like white immigrants do, but it's something that you're seeing here, and that's like every immigrant's fondest dream is your grandkid achieves some kind of like high business or political office and is immediately the most racist person you've ever seen. So
well, Vivek Ramaswamy, the other guy who is at the Department of Government and Efficiency, has started
Seems sort of
experimenting
stunned by it.
Yeah, no, he seems to be starting to experiment with the idea. Maybe I'll be accepted by the GOP base if I am racist.
No, buddy.
And the people I have chosen to be racist against are white people.
Well, this is it's this kind of strange contortion, right? Because if you look at like kind of like this same tendency in the UK, right? You have a lot of non-white immigrants that you can distinguish yourself by being racist against, and that's something that, like, whether that's Rishi Sunak or Kemi Badenoch, these are people
you people reinvented being racist against Polacks.
I mean, true, but in this case,
it's true.
It's more like sort of like coming from an immigrant background and then being still very racist against even people of like your own national background in that sense, right?
The I'm one of the good ones sort of approach. Yeah,
exactly. Like whenever Kemi Badenoch talks about Nigeria, for instance, but like Vivek's deal was white people are on the outs because you watch too many cartoons and you don't know how to work, which had the kind of like expected reaction from all of these like based European traditionalist guys, right? Of screaming and crying and shitting themselves. And it's just like, I wish these people every happiness with each other is the main thing. You know?
Yeah, understand how Omelas works now. Everyone decided to be racist against one child.
Yeah.
And then they all got along.
My favorite thing about this was the discourse got so bad that Elon remembered that he's South African, which he almost never does these days.
That. Yeah, this is it. I was like, oh god, good on you, Elon. You know, remembering the apartheid bit of your upbringing. That's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so it remains to be seen. Like, ultimately, this is something that I think bodes, if not well, then at least humorously for the next 4 years of hell. That the kind of
watching this is gonna collapse.
The coalition,
we're gonna see who in the GOP walks away from Omelas.
Yeah.
Like that. There are pictures from Mar-a-Lago, the like New Year's party where Elon took his like infant child as a human shield, which is a strange thing.
That motherfucker is stuffing that kid into a plate carrier like the Division. It's like it's like Warzone. He's got like 4 kids. He's layering them on top of each other.
You can never be too sure.
Going out with my kids holding triangle and sticking them in front of my sternum so that nobody shoots me.
Oh god! But literally though, on the shoulders, walking into the party. But what's funny is that later on there's a picture of these two within reasonable proximity of each other, and it's quite clear that Trump is. Let's run ourselves a disgusting, unpleasant character, but he was looking repulsed at Musk, who is also a disgusting, repellent, unpleasant character.
Donald Trump
deserve so much, man.
Donald Trump enjoyed hanging out with like, you know, Jeffrey Epstein and stuff due to their shared interest in being a rapist, right? But like Elon commits a far greater crime than that, which is being annoying in Trump's eyes. And I don't think you can litigate that. I don't think you can argue that Elon Musk isn't annoying and isn't a bad hang. So it's just
his vibes are. I mean, like just like spending any time with him, it's just like just
make
vibes are off.
Stop.
I was about to say. I mean,
they're both sexual assaulters and sexual abusers. That's these two. They've got that in common. But apart from that, I think this is definitely like an oil and water type situation.
Yeah, he's like one step up from like Notch. of Minecraft fame.
Oh wow!
In terms of how bad I hang.
Dug deep in there, huh?
Yeah.
I had a week in Tenerife, escaping from 2024 and running into 2025, somewhere that had sun and warmth, and it was
And then
lovely.
you saw Keir
But I
Starmer
swear to
tobogganing
God,
past you.
Oh my
I
God.
swear to God, I saw Notch coming down the beach on the same beach I was on. Which
Oh my
I mean, it
gosh.
probably wasn't
Oh.
him, but it just made me think.
No,
God, can you imagine?
no, very distinctive looking. I mean,
Still-
the thing that I always
Still
think about
smells like the sort of rancid candy wall.
the
Yeah.
candy wall. I was going to mention the fucking
candy
candy
wall.
wall. Yeah,
God.
if you're not familiar with this detail, when he made his money off of Minecraft, he bought himself a beautiful house, which is presumably now on fire. So
Yes.
I guess the candy is being cleansed and purified with flame right now. Eucalyptus trees are like blowing holes in it. But like one of the things he installed in this kind of like ultimate kind of man-child act was he had like a wall that was filled with like candy, like pick and mix, like sweets,
What?
which he
Yes.
then couldn't eat enough of. And so it just kind of like stayed inside this like perspex wall, just
I
like
mean,
rotting.
Obviously, that's how those work when it's a Woolworths and you've got like
And someone
No,
changes them
50,000
out.
people
Yeah.
go through a week.
Like,
I
the
was
kids
about to
coming
say,
in,
I mean,
sure.
that's definitely a house designed for entertaining, and I don't know who Notch has to entertain.
Minecraft, I don't think was ever developed by someone who is a good socializer. I think we can be clear about that.
I gotta imagine the people working on it now are probably a little bit better.
I mean, starting
Maybe.
from a really low bar.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Also,
that bar is
fucking
low.
Donald Trump's looking well. He's looking
He's
as
looking quite trim in this picture.
as
Not that I have any
Zempic
time
goes
for it, but he's looking
crazy.
trim.
I think.
I was about to say, yeah, no, that's here's the thing though. The new MAGA hats, I don't like them. I don't think they're well proportioned.
I didn't like the
text
old
is
ones
too
either.
big.
No.
They're too busy, right? Adding the flag on the side, I think, is too much. But the text is too big. They do not have the same je ne sais quoi of the first.
It's
MAGA
like
hats, the new
it's
MAGA
like
hats.
what if the Nazis had got in for had briefly had an interregnum, got back in and gone, okay, so the swastika's got like serifs on it now instead of
Yeah,
being-
Yeah,
exactly.
it's the Superman and Lois 90s font, right? That's what it reminds me of.
Ah.
Yeah, I saw someone wearing it on the
I think
train.
one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen is Elon's dark MAGA hat
Oh god, the dark gothic MAGA shit.
with the Harry Potter font.
Oh, that's terrible. No, I saw someone wearing the MAGA hat on M-Track about a week ago, and I was like, "That's way worse than the old hat."
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This campaign is decayed.
It's
This is going to be
cringe.
far less entertaining than 2016.
Piss tape
Through
is real.
2020, I
Remember
think.
the piss tape?
Yeah.
Remember when we had
Yeah,
fun
I
with
have that hat.
I know you do.
Yeah.
The piss tape is real. The piss tape. I think we can be absolutely clear about that. I'm still a true believer in the piss tape.
Nah, let's hope that drops at some point. Yeah, that'll be one
like
bright
day
spot.
one, yeah, just
Yeah,
day
exactly.
one.
January
Putin
surprise
opens the
piss
oldest
tape,
media
yeah.
vault and is like,
Putin opens the oldest vault, takes out the piss tape.
it's like a shitty quality WMV because it was filmed in Moscow in like 2000.
That's how he's gonna negotiate with Trump for Ukrainian unconditional surrender.
Zelensky having to be like, "What the fuck is? Why did you send me a video
Why
that
does it say
requires a
pit-
real
oh,
player
yeah, I don't
codec?"
want-
Yeah. Recorded on a flip phone.
MPV.
Yeah.
Unregistered hypercam too. And it's just Trump getting like bathed in Russian hooker piss.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There is a detail. There's another detail about this photo, by the way,
No, I don't
that I
want
want
there to be
to
another
mention.
detail.
No,
go
there
on.
is because it's the dumbest thing ever. It's the stupidest, lowest stakes lie. But I remember last year when Elon Musk accepted on stage an Israeli dog tag, an IDF dog tag, and he said in front of God and everyone, in his fucking weird accent, "I am going to wear this until all the hostages are free," and he isn't fucking wearing it. So
Elon, no.
he got bored, and he's betrayed the IDF, and I can only hope.
No, can't say that on YouTube.
We can't
Yep.
say that, I don't think. But yeah, here's hoping.
Suspect the hostages
just bleep accordingly. Bleep accordingly.
based on the widespread destruction in Gaza. I suspect all the hostages may be free of this mortal
Yeah,
coil.
they've been. Yeah, they slipped the Sterling bonds of Earth to touch the face of God. Yeah.
Yeah, if nothing else, it like beats out the Russians for worst KD ratio in a hostage rescue operation.
Congratulations, you
has ever
fucking
seen.
morons.
I was about to say, yeah.
It helps if you're not trying, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is more of a game of
I think they were trying. I'm pretty sure the IDF were trying. They were just trying to kill as many of the hostages as possible.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, those guys who came out who were the hostages with the white flags, the IDF were just like they just shot all of them.
Yeah.
Actually, straight up, do feel bad for those guys. Like,
Yeah,
it's just, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, you don't move to Israel is what you do.
yeah,
leave.
no, I know, but like
Hit the
that's a
bricks.
real like, yeah.
No, I get it though.
Yep. Well, in other news,
Oh yeah, that's right. We're under siege.
yeah,
Everything's a drone. Everything's a drone.
There's drones everywhere. There's drones everywhere in South Jersey. I saw a big drone a couple nights ago. It was
So
like
this is
big. It
ages
was-
ago now. This news, but is it still happening? Is it still like ticking around in like local news and
think
No,
stuff?
there's
people
still
got
drones
bored.
happening.
Are there? This
I
is
believe there's
okay.
still drones happening.
Have you one of the classic? I'm cursed to just have a memory for tweets, but one of the classic tweets. I don't remember who it was. Sorry, you can credit it if Devin can find it. Where the guy's like, "My buddy says that he saw an alien, but he just saw like a regular plane, and he looked at it with binoculars. And when he looked in the cockpit, there was an alien flying it." That's. I am awaiting the drone equivalent of that. Of like, you look in the cockpit of a plane, and it's a little quadcopter, just like hanging onto the yoke.
I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't get a chance to talk about the drone panic when it was at its height, but yeah, apparently in New Jersey and parts of Pennsylvania and
Parts of Delaware, I
parts
think.
of Maryland,
Maybe not.
there is a swarm of potentially Iranian drones.
Of course, they're Iranian. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
which are doing secret surveillance or something of like, I don't know, Vineland, New Jersey, to get a look at the glass factory or something. I don't know.
I mean, this is kind of interesting, right? Because this followed on the heels of similar reports in England. I think there were some in Germany as well, right? And the ones in the UK were like kind of acknowledged by the US and by us as being like, yeah, there was some drones. We don't know what the deal with them was. We're investigating. Then no one heard anything else about it. And then all of a sudden, everyone in New Jersey decided to go out and try and shoot down the nearest like
And
737.
Staten Island. Don't forget
Yeah.
Staten Island.
And Staten
Oh,
Island,
yeah.
yeah.
Which is-
Yep.
Which is really like, muddying the waters in the sense that maybe there was something there. I don't know. We saw with the like spy balloon shit and all of the like quote unquote UFO videos from the West Coast that like probably some secret drone shit is happening somewhere at any given time.
Oh, sure.
Like just by the like law of averages. It probably doesn't involve like United Airlines flying over your house in the same
Yeah,
pattern
or-
that they do every day.
Right.
Yeah, or you like a FedEx cargo flight. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no one saw a secret drone.
No.
Because if it's a secret drone,
You'd never see it.
why
You
were the
don't-
lights on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Just turning on the like marking lights on
Yeah.
my secret Iranian
Yeah,
drone
exactly.
out of respect for the Federal Aviation Authority. Just like, well, the entire United States is the greatest Satan apart from the Civil Aviation.
However, I must yes, guy who's
Okay,
really
that is kind of true,
Cross
though.
the-
Actually, the FAA is the only good agency.
doing like Iranian worldview, and it's like, my enemy is not the American people, it's not the American political leadership, it is specifically the FAA. I mean, I guess that was kind of Al Qaeda's deal too, but like,
Yeah. It's the whatchamacallit. The best one was, of course, former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, whose Twitter handle is still Governor Larry Hogan. posting.
Good.
Look at all these.
Cope.
Look.
See, that's like my Twitter handle still being like 99 kilograms. November Kelly.
What did he do? He got into office. He canceled the red line in Baltimore. Then he got cancer. Then he left office. Anyway, so he was like, look at all these drones in the sky, and he posted a picture of the fucking constellation Orion.
What was the other one? There was another elected official who genuinely posted a picture of a like film prop TIE fighter on a low loader on its way along an interstate somewhere.
Yeah. They genuinely had like rural cops driving around watching the skies for this shit. Like they were going to do anything, and like there were reporters doing ride-alongs with these poor fucking idiot cops being like, yeah, we don't know, we just thought we'd better keep an eye on it because people are worried. And it's like, that is an airplane.
No, like 6 cops shooting at the International Space Station.
Stop resisting. I'm not going to say anything about shooting at the International Space Station.
Don't say anything about
it. Go on.
I guess there is a real thing here about like how. Listen, I think Elon Musk should be assassinated by Mossad. That's all there is to it. Listen,
there we go.
I want them to give him a pager. The thing is, right, there is an actual point here about how poorly equipped people are to know anything about like civil aviation, even though it's a thing that like has been a sort of technology to which most people have had some form of exposure since like, I don't know, the 50s. And it's like, you can't even recognize an airplane. Like this is not like difficult. It's not new. It's just, you're not used to looking at stuff in the sky and you look at it and you're like, that's fucking like the Islamic Republic coming to blow up Danbury, Connecticut.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it goes even deeper than that. It's like the extent to which it's like
no, only turbans.
It goes back to the incoherence thing. It's like people have just got some people are just ignorant to start with, but a lot of people are like just suspending their own awareness because they just have no idea what to believe. They're not even believing their own senses anymore. That's not a good situation to be in from a political perspective.
Thing, right? I've had this feeling for a while. I think everybody has, right? And I don't know whether there's anything to it. I don't know whether it's just kind of like mass hysteria because everything feels off, or like some kind of cognitive bias, or I'm sure people will tell me it's like all long COVID, or maybe like increasing CO2 in the atmosphere or something. But it really does feel like everybody is getting dumber and like angrier and crazier all the time. And the only thing that's like kind of keeping me like contextualizing that is how much stuff from like, I don't know, like the 60s and the 70s is also like, it feels as if everyone is getting dumber and crazier all the time. Because I don't know, it just feels like we're in that kind of cultural moment, I guess, and that's not to discount fucking COVID or CO2 or whatever, like, future pandemic is fucking around with people right now, but like it's just like, I don't know, it really feels bad out there, Well,
was there a period of history where it felt like everyone was getting smarter and saner? That's my
it's called
question.
the 1990s.
Oh, and then it ended.
Famously it ended.
Thank God. What's his face spoke it into existence.
Francis Fukuyama.
We could have kept it going.
Man has access to the lathe of hell, where the thing that you were saying comes the opposite of true. False, I guess.
So anyway, so far no one has blinded a pilot with a green laser, but I assume that, I don't think this has fully gone away, the drone thing, so I assume someone will do it.
100% a FedEx 777 is getting spread across somewhere because some angry kid shined a little laser pen through the way it's happening.
just like short approach to Newark Airport and lands on the turnpike by mistake. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it should be emptier these days because of future story congestion pricing.
No, there's a lot of people going around is the problem.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, But sticking to transportation news.
Who the fuck is this guy?
We're ostensibly a train podcast, so or we talk about trains a lot. Let's talk about Donald Trump's transportation secretary nominee.
Oh, I mean, that was a real
Duffy.
He made that decision while on the toilet. Like,
right,
I don't think there are a whole bunch of like appointments that were just that were just like not a priority for Donald Trump. Like this would be one. Yeah.
Oh, the Sean Duffy was a competitive log roller.
You're joking. You're shitting me.
Yeah, he was a competitive log roller when he was younger.
I take it that's not caber tossing. So that's just rolling the log. It's not picking it up end on end and flipping it like a Scots do.
Right?
This is in a river, right?
Yeah.
There's so I think there's either you're rolling the log yourself or there's two people rolling the log and they're trying to knock the other one off.
Oh, I see.
Like American Gladiators.
Yep.
So this guy looks like I imagine most like federal bureaucrats look, as in like too young, wearing too paisley-ish attire, and just looking very ill-equipped to cope with the world.
They got the he got the anti-Pete Buttigieg.
Dead in the eyes.
He's got a fascinating kind of baldness coming in, where it's coming, or like he's balding from under.
Like right here. Yeah.
He's got boy band sort of gel in his hair as well, which is an interesting move.
Can I call Donald Trump a homophobic slur? I think I have done before. Okay. Yeah. Damn. Well, that was all the content I had for this segment, so you guys finish it out.
Yeah, me and Nova are just like, who this guy? I don't know. Tell us about him, Russ.
I believe, a congressman from Wisconsin. Maybe it was Minnesota, maybe it was Michigan. I think it was one of those, something up there, Great Lakes, northwest Great Lakes area. Right.
Wisconsin, I think.
He has no transportation experience that I've been able to discern.
Rolling.
He was on Road Rules All-Stars.
He was on MTV's Real Life Boston and then Road Rules All-Star.
Real World Boston.
So he's a campy TV personality like the president will be. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's on Fox News. He hired a guy off the TV.
He was definitely shitting.
No, Donald Trump saw this guy was in a series where he was in an RV for a long time. And he was like, yeah, that guy, he's transportation secretary.
Okay, right. There is something funny about Pete Buttigieg having been Secretary of Transportation for 4 years, having left no imprint or legacy on the office besides East Palestine, and then has to turn over the keys to the RV idiot. That's pleasing to me.
From St. Mary's.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
I believe he also has done some lobbying for the airline industry, which is important because transportation secretary is kind of like, well, you are in control of a lot of agencies, but the only one that does anything is the FAA.
Yeah, and the only thing the FAA does is stop doing anything, make sure that anything that the NTSB suggests gets delayed as long as possible. That's kind of what the FAA's job seems to be.
I mean, I think at this point we are in a position where the safety record is pretty good. I mean, it's been a long time.
Oh, for sure, but there's still
a fatality in any sense. But
yeah, I'm not a big FAA fan, but
you will be.
But if you look at like other agencies, like FRA doesn't do anything. We'll talk about the FRA in a second. What else? The big thing he's in control of, I guess, is going to be dispersing funding.
Oh no! From
the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, because a lot of that is still in the planning stage. So essentially, Biden passed this huge infrastructure bill, and Trump is going to make all the decisions about who gets what money.
Great.
Well, it's going to have
it's
to be
gonna be
supply
interesting.
lines for the invasion of Canada, first of all. So maybe
I guess
high
so,
speed
yeah.
rail to Wisconsin and like upstate New York.
Wisconsin doesn't like high speed rail.
I mean,
That's
they're
a whole
gonna have
episode.
to like it when there's trains full of like Abrams tanks going north.
Yeah, they'll learn.
So maybe we could briefly talk about what does this mean for intercity passenger rail?
Are those passengers wearing multicam or not?
Good question. This is the Amtrak Connexus map. This is supposed to be, what a lot of that infrastructure funding was supposed to go to. The light blue lines are new services. The yellow lines are enhanced services. The dark blue lines are existing services. And what you can sort of look at here is what happens now. I think a lot of this just doesn't happen. Maybe you get some like patronage stuff that goes to, I don't know, North Carolina or like Virginia. But this is going to be very, very determined, I think, on, okay, who delivered the votes for Trump and who has a state legislature that is sufficiently committed to like passenger rail that they're not going to say, oh, that's communism, we don't want the money.
Sure.
Which is what happened in Wisconsin.
To be fair, everywhere voted for Trump, but the places that think trains are communism is also everywhere. So, yeah.
Well, so I would say like, okay, Virginia and North Carolina are going to be the ones that are going to go for it because they have pretty durable pro-rail majorities. North Carolina essentially threw so much shit at the wall that if they get all the funding they want, that place is going to be like Switzerland.
Sure.
In terms of passenger rail.
That would be good. That would be nice.
California, nothing's happening there.
Right.
The Washington, Oregon, who knows? But yeah, this is going to be, I don't know, maybe we can do a deeper dive at some point in the future, but I could see a lot of stuff just not happening. All this
extremely depressing.
Several dozens of billions of dollars that just don't go anywhere or do anything for like at least 4 years.
Ugh. It's just, and the other thing is that all these proposals were so like tepid to start with.
Yes.
Like it's not, this is like the minimum that's then just not going to materialize. It's extremely aggravating.
It's amazing how long it's taken for like to get someone to fund a train from Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, which is the most obvious 3 cities in the entire country.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah. I remember asking the question when Trump had got in, I remember asking the question, what happens to all this? And well, get your rubbers out and start rubbing off the lines off this map.
I was about to say, I mean, at least Amtrak's been pretty good about trying to award as many contracts as possible before Inauguration Day right now. Trying to rush everything through because we also have to talk about our new FRA director.
This fucking guy.
I like the very low resolution picture that
yeah, me too. It's distinctly Diane Abbott shade vibe going on here with the low res. It's very nice.
God bless that woman.
I am proud to announce that highly respected David Fink, a 5th generation railroader, capital R, will be the next administrator of the Federal Railroad Administration, wrote Donald John Trump. Yeah. David will bring his 45 plus years of transportation leadership success, which will deliver the FRA into a new era of safety and technological innovation. Under David's guidance, the Federal Railroad Administration will be great again. Congratulations to David.
Make railroad great again. Thank you, Mr. President.
David Fink was the president of the Pan Am Railroad.
Oh, God.
In New England. Why is it called the Pan Am Railroad?
It's a very good question, Ross. Why is it called the Pan Am Railroad?
Because David Fink's dad thought it'd be funny to buy the defunct trademarks of Pan Am and switch them with the railroad he owned and the airline he owned.
I mean, that does sound kind of funny,
boy.
to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair, that is a funny
That's
bit.
kind of
but-
posting energy, you know?
Yeah.
And I do like the Pan Am branding, so, you know.
So there's now, it used to be called Guilford Rail Systems or something like that.
That
Now
is
it's
kind of kooky.
Pan Am Railroad and Guilford Airlines, I believe.
Jesus
I
Christ.
think that actually does work better, to be fair. Okay, that's actually based. Okay, I'm reassessing. I was going to whisper into the mic, is this US handy? But I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Because I'm all for that bit.
Gareth, you're the railroad right of way expert here.
I am. I don't like. I see you've put 2 pictures of rights of way here, and
Yes.
I was deliberately, actually 3, because there's some under the wagon above. I was deliberately not paying attention to picture number 2
Ooh,
here,
yeah.
the very bottom left.
Shoodley.
Yes.
Shugles.
You remember the episode where we did Morpeth, where we talked about super elevation? One thing that I didn't need to say in that episode, because I felt strongly that I didn't need to say, is you don't put super elevation on straight track. They
Now,
seem not to
in
have.
fairness, the track is
seen the
not
memo.
exactly straight.
Yeah, that's also a fair point. Yeah, they're just responding to the deficiency as they go through all these 50-pence pieces in all directions. Yeah, that's horrifying. I
So-
really do not like that. That's a shambles.
The Pan Am Railroad essentially took over a lot of tracks that Penn Central didn't want, let's say, in New England.
wow.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's
a lot of about 1,700 miles of track in New England in about this condition.
Yep.
A lot of times this track is like 10 miles an hour if you're lucky. They're known for like bizarre derailments in winter. Like, okay, the track goes through a divot, the divot becomes a pond.
Yeah.
The pond freezes over in the winter, and then the train derails and skids on the ice.
What the hell? That's just not a derailment mechanism. That is simply is not a derailment mechanism that exists. I refuse to believe it.
Hey, buddy, you better believe it.
There's a big
I see
tunnel.
there's also tunnel collapse in
Yes.
one of the other photos here.
Yeah.
There's a big tunnel in New England. The Hoosac Tunnel is like 4 miles long. It was an amazing engineering achievement. It came into Pan Am ownership. It collapsed.
what the tunnel,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
not the ownership.
Hoosac,
The
he
tunnel.
he let the Hoosac Tunnel collapse.
Oh,
Great.
yeah. I would. Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't want to do that. No.
This guy's
So-
like he's a 5th generation
fuck ass.
railroader and a 1st generation tunnel collapser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Pan Am has long been like, we talk about how bad that the class 1 railroads do maintenance. But when you get down into the class 2s, this is a whole other situation.
Yep.
This is like, how far can you push it?
Oh boy.
Seeming pretty far.
Yeah.
So one of the things that got so here's a little peek behind the curtain. One of the things that, for the sake of making my book smaller and tighter, one of the things that got chopped actually, and I'm going to turn into an article, was me going into some detail about how you fix the U.S. railroad system. And I'm gonna put it up as a proper article and so on and so on. But one of the key things was take the railroad out of the hands of these guys.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
But the problem is, if you do that, what you might end up doing is putting it back in the hands of this guy, because he's now head of the FRA.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but he's wearing a different hat, or at least a different tie.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is this railroad. Some people have said, okay, but he kept freight rail a going concern in New England because that's been
What do you
a
want, a
very
cookie?
difficult thing.
If you call this freight rail,
Yeah,
like
it's pushing
isn't a
it.
rail
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
be straight?
This is a good point. Yeah, I mean, but okay, it's been very difficult to sustain freight operations in New England for probably 90 years now. But on the other hand,
I'm not surprised the track's looking like that. For fuck's sake, fix your shit, man.
yeah, it's not a good situation. This railroad it folded a couple years ago. It was sold to CSX, who I believe have since reopened the Hoosac Tunnel. Thank God.
Good. I mean, if you're running a railroad at 10 miles an hour, the thing that railways are good for is that they're fast. Like, you can run fast and get your goods reliably on time places.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to have it would be like they would make more money by ripping this up, laying the track completely fresh tracks along this right of way, and then they would and then running the trains quicker so they can move more goods. It just makes no sense to have a railway that looks like this.
Not only can you not run it fast because the track's in so bad shape, you can't even run a long train.
No, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a shambles. Anyway, let's not dwell on this. I'm sure this is actually fine. Yeah. He's competent.
No,
the
Elon, take this guy with you.
The American Short Line and Regional Railroad Association is excited to have one of their guys at FRA, though. So, oh god,
good for them.
Mixed blessings.
Yeah, exactly.
Representation.
That's a whole different level of small business tyrant when it's a small railroad.
So I'm sure the next bit of news will be good, happy railroad news. Finally,
no.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
So this is one that a lot of people asked me to talk about, because this is such an insane incident that occurred. I don't think it got a lot of press because there's just insane derailments that happen every single day that don't get a lot of press. But this is one of the bigger ones. This is in Pecos, Texas, right? This oversized load truck stalled at a grade crossing that I believe it was not authorized to cross. It had some kind of big oil refining equipment, whatever this huge tube is here. Right?
Yeah. We've done a few of these in the UK in the 60s, 70s,
and installing the special transport DLC for American trucks, and then then this happens.
Yeah, this is like a distillation column or something like that. I heard from some of the earlier articles said eyewitnesses said it was stuck on the crossing for 45 minutes. I think there was a subsequent report from the NTSB that said it was only there for 1 minute. Then all that was taken down. I have no idea how long this truck was on the crossing, but this huge fucking, chemical reactor, whatever the hell this thing is, was stuck on this crossing up here. Right.
And then rapidly got converted into scrap by...
Yes, this big Union Pacific, I believe, train came through. This is full of domestic containers. So 53-foot containers. Those trains go fast as opposed to the sea containers that go slow. This was probably there's video up there on YouTube if you want to watch a snuff film. This was probably going 60 or 70 miles an hour when it impacted. You can see probably dozens of cars jackknifed here. The big chemical reactor impacted the Pecos, Texas depot. Took out probably 2 bays of windows. This was very, very nasty. Also, well, I guess there's no hazmat, so it's fine. No reporting in the media. Killed the engineer and conductor. So this is very, very ugly, and this is something which is not too uncommon.
This happens every day, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but all I can say is if you're in this situation, there's a blue sign on the railroad crossing where you can call a phone number and speak to the dispatcher, and they will stop the train from crashing into your truck.
But also don't, unless you're 100% confident your vehicle is getting across that level crossing, don't enter the crossing.
Yeah, and this is very, I don't know. The video was insane to look at. It was and the amount of damage that was done here, bizarre.
It's impressive how much it's compressed in, actually, because there's so much momentum behind this. These mega trains, particularly when they're going at those high speeds. I'm impressed how localized the mess has stayed. There's a hell of a lot of energy that's been dissipated.
I was about to say.
Did you say it was an engineer? Did you say the engineer died?
Engineer died instantly. Conductor died a little bit later.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah. So don't kill people. if your truck gets stuck on the crossing, call the phone number on the little blue sign.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure if we looked, we could find some structural causes in this about the trucking industry, right?
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably one of those where it's like, well, we could save some time if we just go through downtown Pecos as opposed to an authorized crossing like 50 miles away, you know.
Or the time to like train the driver to be like, read blue sign, call number on blue sign.
Call the number on the blue sign.
Please.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know about the blue sign, though.
I think you're probably right.
There's a thing that happens a lot in the UK, more than the US, or certainly, well, bridge strikes happen in the US, but your bridges are often bigger, so the trucks get smashed up and the railway doesn't care. But in the UK, we have quite a lot of bridge, or GB, we have a lot of bridge strikes where, unfortunately, because our bridges are often very spindly and our HGVs our road trucks are oversized and too heavy, you often have to close the railway to go and check that the railway is safe and fine. And these happen so often, and they're bridges that these happen. They're bridges where people have set up webcams because it happens so often. And I know that the US has a few like that as well, but certainly in the UK we have several of those, and it happens all the time. And you get angry people, boomer types, going, "Oh, we should be prosecuting the drivers more and more. You know, we need to increase the penalties for drivers." Like, that's not going to solve it. Drivers are overworked.
Yes.
They are, they're working for, their conditions are getting worse and worse as drivers. They're overworked. They are overstretched. The reality is that the way you hit this is by taking the license away from the operator. You take away from the haulage company. And doing that, the drivers can move on because the drivers are very skilled and in very short supply. Drivers can move on. The company dies. But you have to, it's training. They're overworked. They're not trained. Often there isn't the back office support, because with a haulage company, it's not just the driver going freestyle. Like, these routes have to be planned, particularly for this thing, which is a specialist object. That route should have been planned meticulously, and clearly
hopefully
that's not
coordinated
happened.
with the railroad. I mean, on the video, you can see there's multiple support vehicles, and folks are just sort of standing around like, I don't know what to do.
That company should be out of it. That's a company that should no longer exist. That haulage company should be out of business.
I mean, if you killed people, you should probably be facing. The management should be facing, criminal charges.
That's it. Yeah. It's not I don't hold this against the driver. This is on the planners. This is on the back of house staff, but particularly the management, because clearly there's a failure here that's allowed this to happen. But just really, yeah.
All these are like fly-by-night haulers, that's exactly. It's
yeah. Well, it's like whack-a-mole. The challenge is if you get into a situation where they're used to getting penalized to kind of totality, then there's another one pops up with a slightly different name. They just add the number 2 after the name of their company or whatever.
Exactly.
Yuck.
Well,
don't like that.
Hi, it's Justin. So this is a commercial for the podcast that you're already listening to. People are annoyed by these, so let me get to the point. We have this thing called Patreon, right? The deal is you give us $2 a month, and we give you an extra episode once a month. Sometimes it's a little inconsistent, but it's $2. You get what you pay for. It also gets you our full back catalog of bonus episodes, so you can learn about exciting topics like guns, pickup trucks, or pickup trucks with guns on them. The money we raise through Patreon goes to making sure that the only ad you hear on this podcast is this one. Anyway, that's something to consider if you have $2 to spare each month. Join at patreon.com/WTYP pod. Do it if you want. Or don't. It's your decision, and we respect that. Back to the show.
But I do have one piece of positive news.
Whoop. Just a tiny...
it's positive.
There we go.
Hey, how about congestion pricing? We got it, finally. Oh, my God. New York City has congestion pricing. Thank you, Governor
Are you telling me that a good idea came to pass in government and had immediate positive material effects?
Yeah,
when was the last time that shit happened? Weed legalization?
and only one man could make it happen.
Governor Cuomo.
Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, baby.
I told the cars to make ziti for the
He's driving
people
around
of
in
New
the-
York.
in the open top 1930s like landau.
Yeah.
This is actually, I mean, this genuinely was legislation that was passed under Cuomo's administration, which was
Jesus,
durable
that
enough.
dates it.
Yeah, 2019. That it was durable enough that even Kathy Hochul could not stop it.
5 years of your life on like an obvious thing that is going to make the city so much better.
Well, I think this actually started well before that when they were trying to make it happen. I didn't actually write when it started. I did say it took about 1.7 Apollo programs of time.
Yeah.
What a beautiful reflection of state capacity that is.
Yeah, that is how I've started thinking about
It's smart.
various small transit or transportation projects is okay. It's like repaving Washington Avenue here in Philly.
God.
That took one Apollo program.
We got to start using that measurement for everything now.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm making that official. It's very nice. Start using that in the UK for things like HS2.
So there was a lot of the idea is, okay, below 60th Street in Manhattan, you will, with some exceptions, be charged $9 to enter the most congested area of the entire world, in order to discourage you from doing self-harm like that.
It's just putting up a big sign that says, hey, why not consider taking public transport here?
train.
Considered public transportation. Take a bicycle. Walk. I don't know.
How far a walk is it? If you stood at the southern tip of Lower Manhattan, right down at the bottom end, and walked straight up northwards along the grid, I suppose skirt around the side of Central Park. How long would it take you to reach? I don't know, like Harlem. Like how long is it taking you to get up to? I don't know. What number street would that be?
It's like a 4-hour walk, 3-hour walk.
Yeah, Manhattan's like 13 miles long, up and down. So like,
but 60th is right at the south end of Central Park.
So how long does it? So from the tip to the south end of Central Park, how long is that? How long
If
walk
you
is
started, hold on, I'm measuring this now.
The battery to the plaza would take you less than 2 hours.
Here who walked the whole length of Broadway from 225th Street in the Bronx to Battery Park, and it took them 6 hours 30 minutes at a leisurely pace.
A leisurely pace, enjoying yourself.
That sounds like
okay.
a nice day. Just walk New York City. That sounds great.
I love doing this.
It's 5 miles along Broadway from Battery Park to Columbus Circle.
Yeah.
So
you truly could be walking here.
You could be walking here.
That's actually a nice walk. One of my favorite days in Philly was when I just went for a walk and walked all the way round. It's a very, very long walk I did. It was nice. Spent a lot of time over in East Philly. Sorry, in West Philly.
There's no East Philly, dickhead.
The's no East Philly. I was in West Philly. Forgive me.
In a dream, I saw City Invincible. It's just Gareth.
Yeah.
Yeah, just me out on my own in a little tent. So yeah, that's a nice walk. So my point being, the reason I asked that question is because New York, very dense, Manhattan, very dense, super walkable, right?
Yes, it's got the most public transportation of probably anywhere in the United States, at least, possibly. I mean, just from the density of the subway, maybe almost anywhere in the world.
You all right? You all right there, buddy?
Yeah. And so this has been opposed by a lot of disparate groups, most notably the state of New Jersey.
Fuck them.
Fuck those guys. That's fine.
Because the governor of New Jersey has made the argument this is going to increase pollution in New Jersey.
Sure,
because
man.
of
Take the train.
question mark.
Take the train, dickhead.
Well, the idea of this congestion tax is that we are going to or congestion toll. It's a tax. I don't know what it is. You pay the government money.
We would call it a congestion charge here.
Yes.
That's as good a term as any, I guess.
All of this money goes straight to funding public transportation.
Good.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, this was opposed in New Jersey because, you're double tolled, I guess, if you go through, the Holland Tunnel or the Lincoln Tunnel, which is something you shouldn't do.
Nope.
Because New Jersey has what you call the get out of New Jersey tax.
You don't pay to get in, but you pay to get out, baby.
You pay to leave New Jersey. You don't pay to enter, but you pay to leave.
Like hell.
As Senator Sumner said shortly before the Civil War, New Jersey is the valley of humiliation through which all travelers north and south from the city of New York to the city of Washington must pass. And the monopoly, like Apollyon, claims them all as subjects, saying, "For all that country is mine, and I am the prince and god of it."
So they're finally like this anymore.
Yeah, that's poetic, man. I like that.
So
Box.
they're finally getting a taste of their own medicine.
This is it.
But this was delayed significantly because Governor Hochul thought that she could increase the odds of Democrats winning elections.
And she fucked it.
In New York if she delayed this tax, which was presumed to be unpopular, or this toll, excuse me. That didn't work. New Jersey sued to stop it from happening. That has so far not worked. They failed to get an injunction.
Phil Murphy.
The tolls are being levied. But we lost 6 months of revenue. Also, the toll was reduced from $16 to $9.
It's like a sizable reduction in revenue, like a massive reduction in revenue.
Yes, and
at least it's happening.
Like, exactly. At least it's happening. You're still going to have problems with the MTA budget, but it is happening, and it has sort of worked better than maybe people expected because it's only been a few days now, but travel times in Lower Manhattan, if you're driving, are
Way down.
The streets are free and open everywhere.
Oh wow, nice.
They're probably going to have to start readjusting bus schedules because they're all arriving early.
Yes,
Love
it
to see
works.
it.
The thing works. This works. London made it work. It works. I wrote a piece in Jacobin about this. It works. All the evidence is there. It works. Hochul is an idiot. I'm glad that she's had to eat shit and this has happened.
Definitely ate shit. Yeah, on this one, she's now known for being opposed to this fairly obvious thing. But people are still like trying to figure out ways to get mad about this. I mean, this is sort of, the world's most obvious policy. I guess you could say it's neoliberal, but guess what? We live in neoliberalism, and this is like a good policy that works. Okay, it maybe there's like one guy who lives in a rent-controlled apartment in Lenox Hill who is poor but not poor enough to qualify for an exemption.
And you know what? Fuck him too.
Is disabled but apparently not disabled
bad.
enough to qualify for the exemption, who may get fucked over by this. But
yeah, my understanding is that they found
this has affected almost no one negatively.
We found the one guy that it affected negatively, who's also the least sympathetic possible guy for this. Where it's like a guy who like an insanely rich guy who lives in an insanely rich place who cannot leave his block without getting charged something by someone now, which is really funny.
It was this guy was like interviewed on like freedomeagle.biz news or something like that. And he was like, well, I can't go visit my kids up on 79th Street because I park on 61st Street, indicating that he probably has a parking spot that he paid,
a tremendous amount of money for.
More than the entire town of like Shelby, Montana is worth for the one parking spot. He's like, well, I can't drive north I can't drive at all without going through the congestion zone because, okay, Fifth Avenue is one way southbound. And it's like, sure, but dude,
take the subway.
You don't know what $9 is.
Take the subway.
Yeah.
$9 is literally like you've never had you aren't aware of sums of money that small. Like, because that's where the cordon
really
is.
Funny that the guy with a really like uniquely fucked real estate situation is a real estate developer.
Yeah. Well, that's where the cordon is. It's through a part of the island where everyone's absurdly wealthy. So anyone who is stuck in that situation, again,
get over it, boys.
Yeah, it's like $9 is what they think a banana costs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very good.
And for them, maybe it should
finally see some good policy happening. It's good to see congestion pricing. I mean, this is going to fund a bunch of ADA improvements on the subway. This is going to fund theoretically the 2nd Avenue subway extension to 125th Street. This is going to fund. Well, those are the two I know about. I don't know about the rest of it. But this unlocks a lot of bonding capacity for the MTA. It's good. It's a good thing. Everyone who's mad at it is dumb.
Can suck shit.
And I don't care about them. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Listen, sometimes you've just got to like hit the big state go do thing button and you know, damn the consequences.
And win World War II. Yes,
right.
I agree.
Andrew Heiberger, you can suck the shit out of Liam's ass.
It's the bit in Ford versus Ferrari where Henry Ford II or third or whatever the fuck is like, we used to build planes in this building, therefore fuck Italy. It's kind of like that, you know? Great movie, by the way.
Noted.
I'm summarizing it very poorly, but I cite instead my Letterboxd review, which is, I think, 4 stars and just the word vroom.
Very good.
I need a few more Goodreads reviews like that of my book. Actually, people just the word "tren" with an E and a 5-star review on Goodreads. That'd be nice. If anyone wants to make that happen, then go for it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. All right, we've done the good news. Let's go back to bad news.
Oh, fuck.
We're all going to die. We're all going to fucking die.
How about that bird flu?
That's good.
I'm not thinking about like the prospect of doing a lockdown again and how that would go.
How Trump has to do another lockdown.
Oh, God.
Well, the thing is, right, what lockdown did, right, it saved a lot of lives. It got a lot of people into podcasts. And so therefore, I assume, right, they do lockdown number whatever for bird flu. Not only do we all go completely insane, but we also make infinity money. Like,
we could make a lot of money and go insane. Which is usually a good combination.
Like that kind of overlap of things rarely happens outside of like cult compounds. But I think we have the possibility to. Yeah.
Maybe like the Spanish economic miracle, but just for podcasters. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, people thought podcasts were washed, but then one turkey started coughing into its beak, and from then.
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready for another global pandemic. I had COVID again over before Christmas. In fact, when I was in the height of the fever when we recorded the fireworks episode, I wasn't joking about my 100-degree fever. I was burning up. What's funny is that my fever broke mid-episode. So like you might have noticed I took my hat off and beads of sweat poured out. It's because my fever broke mid-episode while we were recording, which is quite fun. So I actually had an all right night's sleep.
I've been masking and I still feel like I've been sick like pretty much all the time. So,
but it was COVID because I lost my sense of smell and taste and they haven't come back properly yet. So like I've once again, and what's great is that I can't find any information. The NHS website hasn't been updated with the latest COVID symptoms and the latest strain for like 2 years or something now. So yeah, it's really great that we've just decided that's done, and now bird flu's on its way over.
Yeah,
so great.
Like I don't you know me, I've never been one of these people who's like hyperbolic about it, but we really did just like give up, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, like the other thing is I don't want to reassure anybody because Like, I don't want to say like, oh, the healthcare system's better prepared for like zoonotic flu than it was no, it is better prepared than it was for COVID, because COVID was really like de novo, whereas like flu is something that like they've kind of like all the exercise sickness, the thing that we got Nightingale hospitals from was specifically like basically H5N1. There's a ton of like planning around it, but the thing is, when COVID was a thing first in like 2020, I did what was pretty well reasoned at the time, I thought, thread where I was like, listen, there's very little chance that it's not contained in place, and then there's still less chance that it spreads, like regionally and then internationally, and like, ultimately if it gets to a point where you have to panic, you'll know, but don't panic. And at the time, I was right. It's just that I was then subsequently more owned by events than I have ever been. So, so I don't want to be like, don't panic now,
Yeah, I told Liam when the lockdown happened and we were not let into Loco Pez because the lockdown happened. I was like, this is going to last 2 years minimum.
Yeah.
How many Apollo programs is that?
That is one.
We did an Apollo program for giving everybody a respiratory disease.
That's 1/5 of an Apollo program.
We choose to give everybody COVID and to do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
So the bird flu, this H5N1, this has been interesting to see. Yeah, you guys heard of this H5N1? This has been interesting to see progress. Because it's been around for
ages.
It's been around for ages, but it's okay. It started spreading from birds to cows, right? And then it spread to agricultural workers, but also those people are blameless. It also spread to raw milk guys.
And those people should be.
Can't say that on YouTube.
We did quarantined. Like, all the stuff that they thought that lockdown was should be happening to them. The WHO should be hunting them down with dart guns.
Dart guns. Yeah, exactly. Beat me to it.
Louis Pasteur didn't die for this.
I agree.
All the scary, disease thrillers where the government comes in and kicks your door down with the hazmat suits on.
They should
that
be
should
doing
happen
that.
to you if you drink raw milk.
Yeah, it's like, come on. It's just boiling it. It's fine.
The only time you can ever drink raw milk is immediately after it's come out of the cow. Anytime after that, do not do that. I've drunk. I'm not a raw milk guy. Good grief, no. I have farming family, and I know what that looks like. Don't do that. But drinking it straight fresh out of the vat once it's come out of the cow is very nice. A rare treat. But storing it in the whole point is that as soon as it's more than 5 minutes after that, it's full of all manner of excitement.
It's a
not
perfect
good
breeding ground
excitement.
for all kinds of stuff because it's like warm and fatty, and it's like
I have to buy like insane chemicals to clean dairy equipment because it's also grody instantly.
It's instantly fatty and full of nonsense. Yeah, exactly. So don't do that.
The main thing here, and this is something that we're never going to do, and it's a lot like the car thing, right? Except instead of what we consider to be a higher form of life, it's what we consider to be a lower form of life, right? Is that pandemics, like zoonotic pandemics, are not the main reason to do it. The main reason to do it is climate sustainability, but like we need to start like rapidly rethinking our relationship with animals as food. Like the like poultry industry, the meat industry in the developed world at a minimum, right, is just like not sustainable. It's not compatible with kind of like non-disastrous continued existence, right? Like, and I'm not going to tell you that you have to go vegan overnight, right? But like,
unfortunately, you're gonna have to eat the bugs. Here's some shrimp. Here's some crawfish.
You might have
here's
to.
a delicious
lobster
roll.
Pretty good.
Here's
most of us don't even have to reduce our meat intake at all. Like the amount of wastage, the amount of mass meat that gets consumed by people who just don't eat it. Like most of us could still have like a nice meaty meal a couple of times a week, and it's the cheap mass meat manufacture that is just the amount of land, carbon, and then, as you say, very squeezed in close proximity, no quality of life animals that we go through. and also rapid fire generations, which are just as you say, fantastic for zoonotic diseases to just So no, absolutely, very good reason for us to completely reevaluate that.
Yeah, it's also like we're just reducing your meat consumption. I mean, you can make I know some people are like, I want to eat a 1 pound steak, and it's like I don't understand that. You can have like a pasta, and has like, I don't know, half a pound of pancetta in it. It feeds 4 people. I mean,
it's a lot. It's a lot healthier. You tend to like feel a lot better. It's one of the things that like I think about it the same way I think about the cars getting crushed by the like fire department bulldozer, right? In that I think this is one of those decisions that you can make now, or that is going to get made for you by circumstance in the like near future, right? Like. Ultimately, we have lived through the golden age of eating meat, right? Like the kind of ready availability of that as a protein. Unless we like really go like the only way out is through and lab grow the fuck out of things. I don't think
any of that's not gonna turn out very well.
Yeah, well then in that case, I think any conceivable future is one where people eat a lot less meat, and that's probably for the best,
Mm-hmm. But it's been interesting to see like the sort of lack of response to bird flu contaminating all of these, dairy cattle, because it's like, okay, we're not quarantining agricultural workers. The government is not, ordering these herds destroyed. They're also not paying for quarantining those herds. It's sort of like there's been a total paralysis in terms of containing H5N1. We've had a few severe cases.
Where is it spread? Sorry, I'm actually not up to date with where it's spread. Is it in California, or is it where?
It's in. Oh God, I want to say that it's in the Midwest. It's in the South.
Oh,
it's
Midwest.
in the West.
All right.
I don't think it's made it out east yet. But this has been kind of. There's only a few human cases. There's been like 60 human cases or something like that. There's been no human to human transmission. We have had situations where, like, I think there was one like big cat sanctuary that like all the big cats were wiped out by bird flu somehow. There's the bird flu is obviously affecting birds, including wild birds. This is I guess the real question is, with our pretty meager attempts to contain this, can we, I don't know, tough it out until the summer when presumably transmission is down? I have no idea how bird flu is transmitted.
So the thing is that as far as we know, the thing that has not happened yet that would be the scary thing would be like human to human transmission. And so you get cases where people like catch it from animals and then get sick, and I think like 3 people have died total, which is a pretty high case fatality rate. But I don't like betting against the CDC, even in like 2 weeks' time when the new director is someone that Trump saw on TV.
Turbo Hitler, yeah.
Yeah,
no, I'd have to really lock myself in my apartment to even a greater extent than during COVID, because I don't want to like give it to Milkshake.
I miss you.
Yeah.
But Milkshake, listen, I don't want Milkshake to die.
Yeah, me either.
You don't want to fuck around with this one, but like I say, I think the public health and surveillance system that exists around flu like this is as good as there is for anything. And like I say, I really don't want to reassure people again, because
we're out of that business.
Don't touch the anti-lathe.
No.
It's the official WTIP position is do panic.
Yes.
Yeah, panic, lose your shit, move out into the country, kill all birds on site.
Yes,
do not allow any animal protein reservoir to become close to you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Panic, freak out, go nuts. Don't do
Become
that.
vegan,
Don't do that.
but also psychotic against all living animals.
I'm vegan not because I love animals, but because I hate plants.
Yeah, so you're
so
vegan for health
pandemics.
reasons, or like crippling contamination anxiety. A little of column A, a little of column B.
Well, I actually kill every animal I see and refuse to eat them.
I mean, it's fun because my wife is basically vegan, which means I'm basically vegan these days.
Sure.
And it's crazy how much I don't miss it. Like in general, like the fucking Impossible burgers or whatever the fuck, they're fine. It's the same. Like, I haven't no cheese yet. That's the only thing.
I was going to say, I don't think it's cheese that I think I'd miss tremendously. Actually, cheese would be the problem for me.
Yeah, vegan cheese fucking sucks. The thing about vegan cheese,
they have not worked that one out yet.
Vegan cheese, no one tells you this, but vegan cheese stinks. Like, especially if it's been in the fridge for like a day, vegan cheese will it's like a chemical fucking weapon. But yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we've had plane crashes, we've had derailments, we've had pandemics. Surely we're not going to escalate from here. There's nothing worse than this, right?
My head when I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like anxiety nightmare.
All right, folks.
Oh no! It's the Gulf
Let's
of America.
talk about
Yes,
the Gulf of America.
Yes. Manifest destiny everywhere.
This is, I mean, again, you want to talk about the age of incoherence? You want to talk about crash outs? Fuck Elon Musk. Donald Trump going on TV and being like, you know what? Maybe we got to invade Panama, Canada, and Denmark. Well, and Greenland.
Greenland, yeah. And we're going to rename it from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
The US
Did
might
he
have
say
enough
that?
clout to have
My
that
God.
stick. Like he can't like change it internationally, but he can order like federal agencies to use it. And to be honest, if
He could definitely
the
like
US
put it in public schools, yeah.
yeah, if like that's probably enough to get it changed on a lot of the maps. So
I'm thinking of great follow on Twitter, Pinstripe Bugle. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
love
of like
yours.
the mass of like the American, like the US civil service, just like unhappily having to go through all their atlases and saying, "Oh, well, I'm not happy. I'm doing the unhappy face while I change all of these score out Mexico and all these maps to America."
I picked up a globe off the street a couple days ago.
it's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know if you've ever done this. You picked up a globe off the street. It's in my living room now.
I never picked up.
And I was
a globe
like
off the street.
really
no.
excited because it is an old globe. It still had the
Oh, you
Soviet
get to
Union
date
on
it.
it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If it spells
It
Korea with
also
a
had
C,
it said Zimbabwe, but brackets Rhodesia
no,
underneath.
it's Zimbabwe
Oh,
now.
So that's
Okay.
gotta be like,
Okay.
ooh, okay, like
Where's the
1990 or
XKCD
something.
diagram of how you date things? That's the one. That's my go-to.
But I know
So-
that now there's going to be some Gen Z kid 10 years from now who's also going to pick up a street globe, and he's going to be like, wow, this one
But this
says
is-
Gulf of Mexico on it.
This is literally why, right? Like, it's crazy how much this is just straight up Trump thinking about his legacy, right? Until H5N1 has him go out like Stan Chera again. Like him
Again,
just being
yeah.
like, before I die of bird flu,
He's
I've
going
got
to
him.
He's going to get bird flu and transform into a bald eagle and fly into the sunset.
Yeah, experts now believe this Donald Trump was more of a mythological figure. But yeah, no, he so clearly wants to change the map as a way of securing his personal legacy.
Yep.
And the ways he can think of doing that are like territorial expansion that the US last tried in like the 1830s, and
Yes.
it should be called the Gulf of America. And the thing is, right, I've said this, you could placate the guy, you could fulfill that need by either putting him on Mount Rushmore, which I bet South Dakota would go for, or
Yes.
renaming Florida the state of Trump. And the thing is, I think Floridians would go for that about 3 to 1.
You can fucking do it.
and
I don't
would
care anymore.
ultra cuck DeSantis into
Yes.
a
I'm
level
for
of
both of those,
cuckoldry
actually.
never seen. Yeah, Florida
I think the
deserves
US
it.
should be
It
reminded
deserves
of
it.
Trump in eternum.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it deserves a state of Trump. I think it should have his face on the flag like Washington State, and it will continue to be the worst place on earth.
I was going to say with the proposed annexation of Panama, or re-annexation of Panama, I should say, and annexing Canada and so on and so forth. I think a lot of these people maybe start sending out some feelers to China, like, you guys interested in a foreign military base?
Yeah, they're like driving the EU into the arms of China to be like, sorry, do you want to station a couple of like Marine regiments in Greenland?
So, you thinking about like a little Marine base? We could probably do that for you.
Where are the Panamanians politically? I'm guessing
my people in Nuuk yearn for freedom. Yeah, please send J-20 strike fighters.
Well, politically, whereas is Panama? In my head, Panama is a bit of a sock puppet for the U.S. because of canal.
Panama is a fake country we invented to build the canal. Yes, but then we gave them a lot more independence, and we gave them back to Jimmy Carter gave them back the canal, which a lot of people were very mad about at the time, and Trump is apparently still mad about it.
Apparently,
but also if we retake
so they could
the canal,
definitely go to China.
Yeah. If we retake the canal, guess what? We get the expanded locks at no charge, other than the military intervention, which will probably be very
those
expensive.
They're going to be dry. I'm sorry to break it to everyone.
Money, not your money.
Right.
It's a thing that a lot of people don't realize about how much global trade is going to get turned upside down in the next 30 years. But it's unlikely the Panama Canal will be functioning much after the middle of this century.
The US has already been handed the fucking Northwest, the Northwest Passage. So
this is true.
Whatever.
You gotta get Canada for that one. He's like, we're gonna use tariffs and economic pressure. Now I think Alberta and Saskatchewan would probably join the United States, no problem. But I don't know about like Ontario. I mean, I am excited to see if we annex Canada and like American politics has to deal with Bloc Québécois. Because it'd be really funny to see like Bloc Québécois establish a foothold in Louisiana.
Really enjoying the idea that like making Canada a state and you immediately get another 50 electoral college votes that all go to Democrats. Alberta just gets completely shut out.
New Hampshire is lost to Bloc Québécois as well.
But because it's Trump read Infinite Jest and he's trying to do the Great Concavity. Either that or he played Fallout 1. I don't know which is scarier. I mean, like any one of these is like so obviously fucked. I don't know. I thought maybe in my lifetime we would see the end of the United States with its borders as it has them and constitutional system as it has it. I wasn't expecting it to be this stupid. Maybe I should have, You
should have.
Maybe this will. Because I remember when I was a kid, the kind of like prevailing lib dream was some kind of like EU analog, like North American Union, right?
You imagine two senators from Greenland?
Yeah,
that commute would not be fun. I'll tell you that.
At this point, I'm surprised Trump hasn't tried to like buy Baja California from Mexico, like in Bardo. Like it just.
It would make more sense, I would think. I mean, none of it makes any sense, but
it looks like Claudia's about to do the big shitty infrastructure investment over there. So.
Give it to us, Claudia. We can be trusted.
It's possible time for the U.S. to seize control.
Strike
of
now!
Free canal locks, free railroads.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm just
visualizing.
Being in the Canadian military right now and having to earnestly be like to Justin Trudeau, who is resigning in like a week's time, just in case. Yeah, we do have the backup plans for the like stay behind guerrilla operation that we would have to run in case he's actually serious.
Canadian
and the US
Gladio is going to be a hell of a thing.
Yeah, they're gonna start.
That's the
poisoning.
Fallout timeline.
Gonna open the maple syrup floodgates.
I'm just enjoying the idea of a bunch of Quebecois French speakers flipping the coin on Trump and invading down into New Hampshire, and you have so you've got a bunch of Quebecois guys like taking over Berlin. We said we would get it. No, we are finally marching through Berlin. That's it. I look forward to that moment.
Maybe Canada,
it might happen.
Canada just seizes the Great Lakes, like preemptively in a preemptive invasion. I think some of those cities would go with it.
This is what happens when you hang out with Baron, your only map game playing kid.
Take that guy's Steam license away.
Yeah, he's been all playing TNO as well. It's like weird.
The really fucked up the really fucked up only fascist mods on Hearts of Iron 4.
I could see Baron as a Millennium Dawn guy. I'll be honest, and I think that's what led him to this. I think that's how this is happening.
It's an Oops News episode, and we've hit the 2.5 hour mark. My God,
there's been a lot of news.
It has. It's true.
I do like the Knights of the Golden Circle flag on the thing. By the way, this is I can explain this. So this was an idea that was sort of in vogue pre-Civil War, where the US was gonna like seize and colonize like a all kind of
South and Central, all of Central America and also the Caribbean for some reason.
Yeah, well, it was going to be like as a hedge against the Civil War, right? The South was going to create this country, the Golden Circle, that was going to be like all slavery. And it's like you want to talk about like Hearts of Iron mods. This was Burgundy. This was like the Ordenstadt Burgundy, but in like 1850. And thankfully this did not come off. But like people were still pitching this even after the war. People were pitching to Ulysses S. Grant of like shit like, hey, maybe the US should like try and grant statehood to. I mean, Cuban statehood was a thing that was proposed a number of times, but like bits of sort of the northern coast of South America. I think there was even a push for like like Brazilian statehood at one point, which was not something the Brazilians were interested in. So. Yeah, no, it's just kind of
bafflingly weird geopolitical intrusions.
Well, see, this is the thing. The US has like benefited a great deal from its geography and from the kind of like map game starting position that it's ended up with of like having no one who's really credibly able to invade us anymore. But that also means that they're stuck in this position where it's like if you are of that mindset and you want to paint some more like color on the map, your places to go are basically just like Canada, the Caribbean, or south to Mexico and South America.
I'm back.
I was talking about the Knights of the Golden Circle.
Yeah, that's a real goofy one.
That's where we're heading.
I mean, if it keeps Trump entertained, then the Mexicans will keep him busy, so it's fine.
Just tell him they did it. He'll believe it probably.
That is the part that I'm worried about is invading Mexico. I feel like they might just actually do that part, and that sounds really bad considering the amount of progress that's happened in that country recently. Attempting to kill friends of ours notwithstanding.
I don't think they deserve another punitive expedition for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like 100 years later, you get a bunch of like really cool revisionist westerns about it.
Sure.
Ooh, that's
true.
Yeah. No, I think they should go. I think the US should go north. I think Canada could do with. Canada has a reckoning coming on like all the Trump guys in Canada as well. So maybe aim northwards. Let's see what happens. That could be fun.
I want to see the timeline from Escape from LA, where the Shining Path unify all the oppressed peoples of the world against the US, and Florida is invaded by a joint Cuban-Ugandan Marine force.
I'd watch that.
That'd be pretty good. I'd love to see that. I mean, the one thing about invading Canada,
cold.
Amtrak has priority over freight trains, and Via Rail does not. So,
Via Rail, how many divisions do they have?
Yeah, exactly. So you would wind up improving passenger rail in the former country of Canada.
I mean, listen, we have precedent for what happens when a superpower tries to invade a like much smaller neighbor. Just on the basis of like, well, they're not really a country anyway, and will probably be greeted as liberators. And the answer is that your 3-day special military operation is like bogged down for multiple years as that country is like turns itself into the most armed sort of like rump state imaginable, a huge personal cost to everyone.
What I'm hearing is that all of the Ukrainian Canadian fascists in the
they're
Canadian
going to have
government,
the most unexpected convergence of interests ever.
They're going to have to start taking arms from Russia. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, you don't understand. Canada is American Ukraine. That's how you pitch it to them, you know?
That works.
Yeah.
The languages are mostly mutually intelligible, but there's a series of revealing grammatical mistakes you can make.
Look, if Trudeau's going to do have any sense behind him, he needs to be phoning up the Houthis quickly. If he wants to know how to circumvent and destroy U.S. military hardware, then there's no one better. There's no one doing it better now than the Houthis.
Maybe the like Iranian drones are just Trudeau hedging his bets just in case Trump's serious. You know?
Damn. No. This has gone poorly. I support this idea now. This is not where we're supposed to be. Okay. Anyway, I think this is our last piece of news.
Hell yeah.
The Sixers Arena is coming to a center city near you.
Huh?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Zooms in on Philly. Where's it going?
Center.
So okay.
Where? Yes. Yes.
Center City.
Where?
Yeah. So the Philadelphia 76ers, the basketball team, has been wanting to move their arena into Center City for a while now, and I feel underqualified to do a huge exposition here, but it's been very, very unpopular with a lot of grassroots activists. It's been very, very unpopular with parts of Chinatown because, it's seen as this big project that's going to, gentrify neighborhoods. It's replacing part of a dead mall in Center City, which admittedly is good. They're building it right on top of a train station and also blocking off all the light into it, which I think is bad. There's a lot of stuff
Not
going on here.
replacing the skylight, you just see them dribbling the basketball on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's it go? Where's it going exactly? Well, I'm whizzing about. Where's it being dumped?
It goes. Yeah, something like, what is it?
But they're gonna knock down the fashion district to build it, right?
Yeah, so it's between Market and Filbert and 11th and 10th, as well as the bus terminal just north of that, which was previously sold off by private equity. Although, I think they did take advantage of the fact that this thing was going forward. I mean, this has been a very contentious issue for a while. It seems like Mayor Sherrill Parker was sort of elected to do this deal.
Right.
It's been sort of steamrolled through for like a year now. And I'm not as like radical as some people in saying this is going to destroy, Chinatown. This is going to destroy Center City. I think it's a bad idea and we don't get much out of it. Obviously this is at the final vote. You can see here someone being arrested for protesting.
It's getting.
I gotta say,
Primark,
this is a great photo. This is one of the best being like sort of like huckled out of the location of all times.
I was actually in the building when this happened, but I was at jury duty. There's a huge line of people outside the building, like waiting to get into the council hearing. I was like, oh damn. A lot of people have jury duty today. So I was like, no. They said, no, go to the front of the line. You're allowed in.
Thank you.
So you're losing a Primark, you're losing a GameStop, you're losing a Wetzel's Pretzels, of course.
What's it? There's the AMC Theater.
And
there's
the bowling alley.
Yeah. I mean, so the building it's replacing is not like especially great. I mean, the sort of whatchamacallit, they call it the fashion district now. It used to be called the gallery. But this whole process where they it's at some point it was like the Sixers are going to move to Center City. there was not much community input. There was not much.
They've called it something at something. 76th place at Market East.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Exactly.
I hate that.
The part I don't like is that they're going to ruin the train station.
Yeah.
But the big thing here is a lot of people have been protesting this for a lot of reasons, and then it just didn't.
And they just rammed
it's
it
never
through.
felt like there's been any sort of engagement with anyone about the stadium.
The concerns people had. No, of course not.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's necessarily like, again, I don't think it's the end of the world, but the way it's been pushed through has been crazy. Yeah. A couple of, they have like a community benefits agreement, which is kind of mediocre. There was a plan to put a bunch of affordable housing on the site, but that got canceled because people don't like affordable housing, I guess.
Yep.
This
was a little bit bizarre to me. Yeah.
The Save Chinatown Coalition did a poll which showed 56% against, 18% in favor. But then when participants were given neutral information about why people support and oppose the arena, it went to 69% against. So you try and pitch this to people and they like it less, which is a really good
that's
sign.
how I feel.
Yeah, I am. It's
fine
weird. I mean,
4-track the
if
Broad
you
Street
look
line.
at it, the only thing I could say is like look at similar like arena situations like in Washington D.C. Where they did put a multi-purpose arena in the middle of their Chinatown, and there's no Chinatown anymore.
Absolutely.
It's multi-purpose arena town.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of increased rents. It's sort of it's. Oh God, I should have put more notes here, but yeah, this is it feels
there's
like
a whole massive space that I happen to know is free down at right down where there used to be a massive refinery complex. And why the fuck don't they put it down there and put some retail next to it?
It already is down there. That's the thing. Yeah,
I have an idea.
Well, leave it down there then.
I have a modest proposal. Could you fit an NBA standard size basketball court on the SS United States?
Yes.
Oh, that thing's never going to move, so they may as well.
Yeah.
Refurbish it, move the 76ers onto it.
Fine.
Do it.
Honestly, that might be the solution. Yeah.
This is the kind of like lateral thinking, that
this is it.
City Hall needs to hire me,
SS United States Conservancy, DM us.
Yeah. Listen, stranger ideas have come to fruition, right? And if the US is going to fucking invade Greenland, you tell me why the hell you can't play basketball on the largest ocean liner built in the US and the fastest across the Atlantic Ocean.
Sure.
Yeah, again, it's not going to move. I mean, it might move. But it's probably not going to move. No, that's going to be... Gareth, you mentioned you were disappointed about not being able to see it. Well, there's probably still time.
There's still time.
There's still time. Yeah, I'm glad there's still time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'll be making a point of whizzing over. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That and the Dead Fleet. There's a couple of things that are on my list. Actually, there's a lot of stuff on that on the Delaware that I want to see. Actually, it's just a nice walk down. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I think the big thing about the arena is that the vibes have been totally rancid this whole time. It's really hard to I guess, put a fine point on what exactly is wrong with it. But the vibes have been so rancid.
I've seen the concept illustrations, and it's just this weird kind of like box. No, fuck that. Basketball at sea, like in that one Simpsons episode.
Yes.
Couldn't they flatten the convention center and put it there instead? I don't know. Just like,
I mean, the convention center needs to that could be a whole episode. Oh my god, convention center was a terrible idea.
Yeah,
basketball at sea.
It's definitely irritating.
I mean, they've done football on the deck of an aircraft carrier.
irritating to see like a lot of people who are
There's a basketball
urbanists
aircraft
like
carrier too.
talk about like
The
we need to
football
have
one was
this.
a joke. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you listen. What you do? You take all the superstructure off basketball court, and then you tow it out to international waters.
Football was fake, but
and
basketball's
then
real. Here you go.
You start betting some real money on it. You know, like international waters. You can do whatever. The laws of the NBA do not apply.
Holy shit! There is a picture of the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Michigan State Spartans. All on the flight deck of the USS Carl Vinson. Okay, legit. There we go.
It's
70
basketball.
It's irritating to sort of see, especially a lot of folks from the local urbanist organizations saying, we have to replace this horrible dead super block in the form of the mall with the arena, which will also be a horrible dead super block. Except for a few
they
times.
literally played. They've played college basketball. Yeah, like you can do this. You can just do this.
No,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
just do it. Just do it. Yeah, I got you. I thought you were talking about football for a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. It's a prime location. There are definitely better things they could do with that space. It's a really prime location right in the center city that they could be doing
put
different
a
and better things
building
with.
on there.
Yeah, a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
But also, I agree, Roz. I agree. They need to not fuck Jefferson Station up.
Please.
Like it's already.
yeah, Market East is a very, very nice station. I refuse to call it Jefferson.
No, it's Market East.
That's a naming rights deal.
Oh, is
yeah,
it?
it is.
Oh.
Yeah, we have several
Fuck
naming.
you, Google.
NRG or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah, Patterson Avenue.
It's Patterson.
Drexel Station
At
at
30th
30th
Street.
Street.
Fuck off.
No, you know what that one did? You know what that one did is that when you scroll through the app for arrival times for the L, now it's like, oh, okay, 46th, 40th, 34th, and then it goes straight to 15th because alphabetically, Drexel Station at 30th is not between 34th and 15th.
That's extremely
It is.
aggravating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So-
Yeah. Well, morons run cities. There's a podcast about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
NoGodsNoMans.com.
That was
Yeah.
the goddamn news.
Shit.
Oh, there we go, Nova.
There you go.
We have a segment on this podcast called Safety Third.
Oh.
Oh god. Okay.
Hello, Justin, November, Liam, Gareth, and Schrodinger's guest.
Nope. Fuck you.
Uh-huh.
I come to you with a story from a hospital of unspeakable prestige, which you may be familiar as an institution next to a children's hospital that abuts a CSX line carrying hazardous cargo.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Dox your own place of employment at wtyppod@gmail.com.
To be fair, it's better than doxing your home address.
We have mentioned this
so,
hospital numerous times, and there's a little.
It could be any
It
hospital.
could be any hospital.
There might be a lot of them like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's
Probably are.
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
As
You know
a
what? Fine.
resident physician in internal medicine, one of our jobs was to respond to codes in the hospital.
Mhm.
In general, a code refers to when a patient has sustained a cardiac arrest, also known as dying, and we would attempt to revive them with CPR. Depending on the case, sometimes this involves using a defibrillator to shock the patient's heart into a rhythm that can produce a pulse. Contrary to popular depictions, we do not use paddles to shock patients. Figure 1.
Is that an obsolete technology? They don't CPR you out of plancha.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Defibrillate you out of
all the
plancha.
defibrillators that are. Yeah, all the defibrillators that are spread around in like phone boxes now in the UK, they all have those little pads. It's not nearly as exciting.
And,
Sadly.
you want to
So it's
rub
it's
them
like
together,
It's like if a phone, like a mobile phone, entered and stayed in popular culture as a flip phone, like forever.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead, adhesive pads are stuck onto the patient. See Figure 2. Adhesive paddles are advantageous because they limit downtime between CPR rounds. They do not need pressure applied to the chest, and they minimize the risk of electric arcing.
Yeah, but that electric conductive gel is horrible stuff. Like, okay, yeah, you might still be alive, and okay, you might be having a horrible time on a more fundamental level, having just been defibrillated and like CPR'd. But like, you got to get the goop off you, and it's going to get all in your chest hair.
The yucky goop. No one wants
goo.
yucky
The
goop.
goo.
This is true. Yeah, just let me
Or
die.
maybe some people do want yucky goop on them, but that's different.
Yeah. It is standard practice for everyone to clear the patient prior to delivering the shock. This is accurately depicted in entertainment. Anyone who is touching the patient or is touching something that is connected to the patient is hands off. Now, a component of CPR that is underappreciated by the public is that most patients end up intubated, which is having a breathing tube placed in them during CPR.
We have been mulling for a while a bonus episode about anesthesia. And it's still in the works, so we'll get on that sooner or later.
Compressed oxygen then runs through the breathing tube to be delivered to the lungs. Prior to shocking the patient, the respiratory therapist on the case is supposed to disconnect the tube from the ventilator to minimize the risk of sending large amounts of 100% oxygen into an electrical environment.
Oh, God.
Today's seemingly apocryphal tale started as a run-of-the-mill cardiac arrest. We were faithfully attempting to return someone from the heavens. My job was to jam my fingers deep in this patient's groin to palpate a femoral pulse.
Medicine's so glamorous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a... I love learning things about medicine.
You look at the big mural on the side of the hospital, and it's a guy with a square jaw pushing death's scythe back, and then you go, what's going on inside this hospital? And it's like fingers fully
Scrubs.
into the taint.
Yeah, exactly. The code leader, which was one of my co-residents, called for a pulse check, which I did not feel. The cardiac rhythm was one that was shockable, so the leader called for everyone to clear. A shock was delivered, and chest compressions resumed. Then, at 12 minutes and 7 seconds into the code, a smoldering, smoky odor rose, and the patient burst into flames.
Oh.
Gee.
Oh. Ivy League gaming.
The classic patient,
what a guy.
You're just like you're in this state sort of like between clinical life and clinical death. The medics are like, get back here, and you're like, I'm going to do something nobody's going to expect.
What do you do at that point as a medic? Do you just get your cigarettes out and light it up off the
right?
flaming patient?
We've got the attendings coming in with marshmallows upstairs.
This was not a situation that any of us residents had encountered previously, and the patient could not stop, drop, and roll on account of being dead.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
Going to save a lot on cremation costs, I can tell you that much. Luckily, a supervising ICU physician always oversaw codes from the background, and he literally sprang into action in a moment of ingenuity, stupidity, or both. This attending physician, I assume, ran into the room, leaped and belly flopped onto the patient, smothering the fire.
Nice.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Fuck it, yeah,
After recovering from our astonishment, we resumed compressions as if nothing had ever happened. Unfortunately, the patient was not revived but the fire likely had little to do with the outcome. They were, after all, already dead.
Oh my god. This is. Do you remember 6 Feet Under?
Yeah.
This is the type of shit they used to open episodes with.
Yeah.
This is like you're doing courtesy CPR. You know, you have to do it in front of the family to look like you're trying, even though you're
Come back, you bastard.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember that one video of the guy like pretending to search people at the entrance to the thing, and it's like he's blessing them because he's just doing the like hover hand, just doing that, but like over the sternum, you know?
Yeah. I still do not know what caused the fire other than a freak accident. It is possible 100% oxygenated air made it near the pads and ignited. Shocks without clearing are being trialed because of the safety of adhesive pads, but I certainly am not someone who wants to have my hands on the chest when the electricity is delivered after seeing this case.
We found the least popular doctors to trial, like not clearing the defibrillation.
Thank you for the continued entertainment from Dr. H.
Dr. H.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Dr. H. P.S. Support resident physician unionization. We make under minimum wage in conditions that would make a railroad company blush.
Absolutely. I mean, for all the good that like having a medical union like the BMA is doing doctors here, but like, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Damn. I mean,
Well, the Undertakers are going to have a bit less to do on that guy.
I was about to say, you know, if you can, you know, it depending on how you want to be buried, if you can figure out how to self-immolate. You know,
you're
you're
thinking, you know, Turkish barber job, you know, the cotton wool and paraffin in the ears type situation.
Easy peasy.
Question is if the insurance will cover it.
Fuck, do you mean out of network?
Wow, you know, your family gets a bill that's like, fire extinguishing $400,000.
Don't just kill me.
Don't worry, the insurance covered the first 100,000. All right, our next episode will be on Chernobyl. Does anyone have any commercials before we go?
Bye, Garrett.
That was safety third.
Oh shit.
Shake hands with danger.
Yeah, what Liam said. Thanks, Liam. Yeah, buy my book if you haven't already. Thank you so much. It's the third print run is now out and about. There are 1,200 copies in the warehouse, so they are there finally. We've got ahead of this. The fact that everyone has bought it has caused problems, but we now have enough that you can buy them again. If you haven't, if you are having problems, genuine supply problems, you can message me. I'm an idiot. I reply to people who message me on things like this when I shouldn't. I should ignore you all. But no, message me and I'll then pester the publishers. What else? No Gods, No Mirrors has been entertaining me. I've very much enjoyed. Noah dropped in actually, and I enjoyed that episode. That was from the most recent free one.
We talked about Sam Yorty, mayor of Los Angeles.
Yorty, yeah, what a guy. So yeah, that's tremendous fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And then the usual list: 10,000 losses, TF. Kill James Bond for God's sake. Rail Natter.
We have
a whole smorgasbord.
We have 8 tickets left in Washington, D.C. We have something like 250 tickets left in Philadelphia at the Fillmore. We need to fill more seats.
Still need to fill more seats.
We have quite a few tickets left for the first New York City show.
People don't want to do the Stalinist congestion pricing, you know.
Yeah, apparently no one wants to come into Times Square on a Tuesday.
Who can blame them?
This is bullshit.
Yeah,
where you're gonna have a great time, assuming that the federal government lets me into the country. You'll still have a good time anyway. You know, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay, good. I was worried I was running out of hard drive space.
I hate you so much.